Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome. This is Bad Plans D&D. My name is Jay. I'm the Dungeon Master, and this is episode five. It's episode five. It's episode 5 of Chapter 2. I definitely knew exactly what number episode was. Don't worry. We are here every week. We have been playing for about a year now. There's quite a few episodes in Chapter 1, which you can catch on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WeMakeBadPlans. Here on Twitch, we are live every week as well at We Make Bad Plans. So thank you for your subscriptions, your follows, your comments, your likes, your presence in general. We really appreciate you guys, and thank you for being here.
Yes, we do.
You got presents too? Like, I thought it was weird that the fans were sending me presents over Christmas, but I mean, that's cool.
Oh, that was
Everybody.
just Jesse.
Yeah. You were just, that's right.
Sending out some gifts.
Yep.
To the whole town at our expense.
Yep.
Jesse would make a good Santa Claus, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I could see him sending out like actual gifts, just like pictures
And
of
what
himself.
would you like
in
for Christmas,
Random,
little
like,
thing?
Pictures of
motions.
himself being grappled.
Yes.
This is
Pictures
me
of
inside of a
myself.
monster.
All the
That's not how I
kids.
view
I
Jesse,
thought you'd
but
be
okay.
taller.
All right, we need this to happen.
What? Yeah.
So let's see. So last week, what we had, the previous week, you had battled this giant monster, and which was sort of kind of terrorizing the outskirts of the town of Portsmouth, where you guys are based out of. Froghemoth, a massive, gargantuan frog-like creature who had taken up residence in the swampy marshes. You defeated it, and on your way back, you came across a boat which had two basically sailors in it who had been adrift at sea for days. No oars. They had escaped a boat that had been attacked by pirates, and you had rescued them and brought them back to town, kind of given them some water, some medical help, and you had learned that there had been a black ship that had attacked their merchant vessel and sunk it. And sure enough, when you got back to Portsmouth, there was a dark ship moored right in Rock Harbor. What happened next?
You know what we didn't do?
We didn't talk to the people.
An insight check on the people in the canoe.
No, we
How
just
many
let them
times
go.
have we been double
With Emmy, we're like, oh,
Ah.
get them a room.
They would really be committed.
I mean, I'm
very
just
trustworthy.
saying.
You
turn
turn
back
back
and
and
the
the sleeping savior's ablaze. It's on
So that's the people to insight
That
check.
could be
I'm like,
anything.
how many times have we been taken advantage of by people who seemed like they were like that lady who we saved from the knolls,
That had
saved
that killed
from
you.
the knolls, right?
But like,
and
what
then
was
she
their
killed
plan?
us.
Like,
They were
"Hey, cut off your leg,
dehydrated.
it'll be more convincing. Like,
I agree. This is
I
the
just-
D&D
It's probably
paranoia.
fine.
It has
We're a
set in.
little jaded, sure, but when you get killed by someone you saved 3 episodes earlier, like that's when it all starts to, twist on you. But
And then I believe that Kira shared with us a lot of details about Admiral Fancy Pants and Captain
Grey Gaze.
Greg
Greg-
is.
Grey
Grey
Gaze.
Gaze and the Silver Admiral, too.
Yeah.
Silver
Ad-
Admiral.
Silver
I'm just
Admiral,
saying,
Captain Grey Gaze. He's like, we're not quite silver. He's
but then his
Right.
ship is also gray. It feels like he's kind of big
There's a
on
lot of
branding.
gray.
Like,
it's a lot of literal.
it's-
He
Favorite
just,
color.
But the ship might not actually look like
the
ship
ship
looks.
is like
may
an
not.
illusion.
May not. So what we did was we talked about Grey Gaze and how he's been missing for a while, long time missing. And the Silver Admiral has gone ahead and hired some non-piratey thugs as personal bodyguards. We don't really know why. At least that's the rumor that I've heard back down in Pirate Land.
Yeah, the
we
general
did learn about
rumor.
location, the Bone
The
Bay.
Bay of Bones.
Bay of Bones.
Bay of Bones.
So freaking close.
You were
That was
damn
really good.
close.
I'm giving it to him.
Bombay.
Bone Bay.
So we learned about those guys, and we know that he's the classy cats or whatever the
Alley cats.
Alley
Alley
cats.
cats.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, but classy
We'll get
cats
it.
is what we will call them when we see them.
So this is gonna overshare, but in college, my apartment building was right across the street from a strip joint called the Classy Cat, spelled with K's.
Nice.
And
That's how you know it's classy.
That's how you know it's real. That's right. It's,
right into my mind.
Yeah, so that.
you never visited, but you
We
just
could
saw
probably
it
write
online.
it on,
No,
Yeah.
I
No.
no. Well, you drove by and you went,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Even if I felt like going to a strip joint, not sure it would be that one.
I'm good.
I'm good. You look at the parking lot, right, at a strip club. If you see like a bunch of Cadillac Escalades and Lamborghinis, you're like, wow, that's a pretty high class joint. You drove by this one, it was like a '97 Corolla and like a minivan. You're like, well, this
As
is
it
probably
should be.
not the.
Classy cats. So, but as we have to at least see what's going on.
Mhm.
So
course.
hatched a brilliant plan.
Brilliant.
Very
You-
brilliant.
Couldn't
Like,
go.
brilliant.
couldn't
There's
fail.
like multiple invisibilities going on.
Yep.
Kins
We walk
is a
up on it.
rat hanging on to Kira's like necklace brooch
Brooch.
thing.
Roach.
And Ziggy's there, invisible, flying along, talking to Belrissa and back the whole time. And yeah, I mean, they made it onto the ship. Oh, walking on water too.
This is what happens
Multiple
when you ask us to
invisibilities,
tell you what happened,
like,
Jay.
It just makes me laugh every time.
animal.
You're like,
and
there was a
then
cat and invisible things, and there was a ship,
Walking-
and then that's where we're at. We're like, great,
Walking
that's
on
very
the water,
helpful.
got to the ship, saw things going on.
Let me
So
help you
the-
out here. Let me help you
This
out.
Pop
is
and
where-
Velma.
Yeah,
yeah.
Spin your story again, where we're supposed to like this guy.
Yeah,
who
supposedly
knows-
he's very trustworthy, yet the whole ship is an illusion. I don't know. Jay's trying
Yeah.
real
Hey,
hard to get us to try this guy or
He's
trust
like
this
second
guy.
in command for all the pirates. Like I feel like we have a pretty reasonable, like a good
Misunderstood.
reason to be like, this guy is not always a great dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they only sometimes rob people.
Well, my favorite
Yeah.
part was Belrissa being like, "Oh, so what is it that pirates do? Like, they're not that great, right?"
Oh man, yeah. So we wanted to find out what was going on, and we snuck aboard.
Yep.
And you saw a map.
where- A map.
Oh,
we got to see
yeah.
a map that led that ship, the cloaked, the glamoured ship. Use Jay's favorite word. Is
Just
is on its
prisms.
way to the Bay of
Prisms
Bones.
everywhere.
Prisms. That's the way to the Bay of Bones, and we don't know why. This guy, I don't know the characters that he was with, but y'all do, and they were having like a nice warm embrace over a hearty meal of cheese and wine and whatever the heck else, and
Yeah, Velma,
Let's just say Cobb is not warm and huggy.
grandfather.
He's, that's not his vibe.
Right.
well,
Right.
Grandpa Grey Gaze was pretty jolly. They're giving him
Yep.
So
nice
related, did it look like a hug between like a niece and an uncle, or maybe like
You
a
weren't
brother? Like,
there.
I know, but you guys were. I'm just like trying to picture what in the world. How are these people connected? But anyway,
I
were
wrote happy
apparently
to
connected.
see the captain.
we don't
hugs
see Velma
before
hugging
leaving.
people in
Oh no, she's a
Portsmouth.
We'll
tough
have-
girl.
Right,
Vin
like,
and
I mean, that's the
Belrissa
thing.
will hug, and we'll judge it off of that. What its
Yeah.
cousins hugging look like.
Yeah, but when we come back and tell you about it, then we can, y'all can act out what hugging looks
Was
like.
it, was
They're
it like,
cousins.
No, it was more like
Definitely cousins.
but then you wanted to sneak in. So then Velma and Cobb leave.
Oh
and,
yeah.
And Captain Silver Guy is like deep
Silver
in
Guy.
thought.
No, gray gaze.
Oh,
Gray
Grey
gaze.
Gaze, never mind.
Yes.
And the
Gray
Not
gaze.
fireball.
silver.
Well, then yes,
Okay,
because
so
then you're
you
like
needed a
make
distraction.
distraction.
Right, we need distraction.
So
I'm a
fireball
rat.
straight up in the
Just-
sky.
Straight in the
Sitting
sky.
there.
Most
Like
What's the plan?
most
Nothing
subtle
can
distraction.
possibly go
like
wrong.
a firework.
And I think isn't
was a
that that
perfect
was
firework.
the end. It was like in the fireball exploded.
that was the
giant-
end.
It
Well,
was the
because
end.
there was the map, and you wanted to see, it
Yeah.
showed that the
Wow,
ship
north.
came from north,
Way
but like
north.
how far
Where?
north?
Yeah.
Where?
Norther than-
Like this mysterious north place.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't even know the world went that north.
So north, it was south.
That's right.
And that's where we left
Geography
off.
joke.
That was it.
Was that good?
Previously on 24.
That's right.
Okay, so
Ding.
that was great. You guys pulled it back. You reeled it back in at the end there. Really good. That was great. Yes. So where we left off. Yes. So Tej, you're still invisible. You're on the back balcony of the ship, the Grey Tide, and you have looked into. Basically, there was an illusion over the ship that made it look pristine and perfect, and everything was just like it was brand new, just rolled out of the shipyard. But as you got closer, you realize that it is not. It's worn. Some of the stuff is a little bit there's definitely a lot of wear and tear going on, including the windows. Some of them are a little cracked. a little hazy, but you're able to kind of peer through, and you saw all the stuff you described. You also saw the map, etc. There's a sort of a window that you're pretty sure you could get open, except the captain is inside, just kind of like deep in thought after his guests have left. So you communicated back. We need a distraction. We need a diversion. Belrissa raised her hand, started spinning it, whirled up a little ball of flame in her fingers, and shot it straight up into the sky. And that is where we left off last week.
Kins didn't want to bite people. We're like, come on, Kins, just go bite somebody.
You had to
Then I
say
would
what's
not
the
be
plan,
invisible.
Jay. I'm not ready. I can't start role playing until I hear what's the plan.
What's the
Well, the plan, you've
Something
already
has to
kicked
happen
off the
first.
plan.
Yeah.
Plan? Okay, then I'm role playing. What the hell was that?
Are you
So-
standing right next to her?
I was dueling with Vin, testing out my new armor.
Yes. We were just sparring on the docks.
If I recall correctly, the right shoulder is a little tight.
Yeah.
All right. So, you guys, actually, before we, Belrissa's standing on the docks. Kins, Ziggy, who's Belrissa's familiar, and Kira are on the ship. Where are Vinadil and Jeshi right now?
We were on the beach,
Well, we're on the docks,
Docks.
beach, whatever. Yeah, like we're
the edge of near the docks. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we were under the guise of testing the new armor. We were
Just hitting it
That
with
was
a
your
stick.
cover.
nearby.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just doing
you
some-
know, like mock blows.
Some sparring, you know. Yeah, some sparring.
The butt end of the dagger.
Just poking all the little joints and nooks and crannies. Finding the weak spots.
This will work. This will
Alright,
do.
so all three of you are kind of in the general vicinity of
Yeah.
the docks. Got it.
By Belrissa for sure.
All right. So you're all kind of down there playing your parts. Suddenly, you hear. Hold on. Let's make that a little louder.
What did we hear?
Is it bacon? Is it
It's
bacon?
Bacon.
sizzling bacon.
You hear this explosion in the sky as you look over, and just to the plan, Belrissa has shot a fireball up in the sky. You suddenly hear screaming all around you, and you hear
crap.
two words: "Cannon fire!" You see all the sailors rushing towards the ship. You see a bunch of people jumping onto the dinghy, sort of rapidly paddling back to their ship. A bunch of people have rushed out of the buildings and are headed down there, torches in hand. You see Remus running up to you. He runs up to you and he grabs you, Belrissa, and he tackles you to the ground. Stay down, you there. And just everybody's running around.
Oh, I'm
Going
dropping
crazy.
to the ground.
Cannon fire!
Dropping to the ground. Like, get down, Jeshi, get down. I'm fully in.
Kira.
What does this sound like on the ship?
Kira, you just hear a muffled explosion, which you're kind of like, oh shit, she did it, and you hear everybody yelling too. The yelling is coming from the ship as much as it is like these guys are dialed. They're trained for this, right? Like something's
Right.
happening,
Right.
and sure enough, Captain looks over. His brow furrows. He steps up and disappears.
No.
Wait, not leaves the room? Disappears?
Yeah, I think you said that wrong. You meant left the door. Like,
We're invisible though. It's fine.
sure, two invisible people in the room. It'd be great.
Make a perception check.
Okay, doing that.
When you recreated your
Always
character
perception.
sheet,
Do I have anything else that can help me?
I was gonna say, did you give yourself extra perception last time?
Hang on, I gotta refresh this because the dice
Kins,
thing
you
wasn't
too.
lining up with that.
Oh, okay.
I always forget
is-
you're there. Sorry.
And you can
I
smell.
am invisible.
And
I
you can
can.
Smell, so like if
Can
he's
I
there,
smell?
Though I'm going to say
Yeah.
Belrissa's distracted. Yeah, you could smell. Yeah, go ahead. You can use your
All
keen
right.
sense.
Let's do it. Oh, 25.
she is smelling everything.
I can sniff out the captain, please. The cheese, maybe?
4.
His breath?
4. Okay.
Or you-
Yeah. So Kira, you're completely distracted. Like you were just locked, eyes on this guy, and the fact that he just disappeared. Like you're like, okay, that was not what you expected. You're You don't know what's going on. He's just gone. You're like, oh shoot, where is this guy? Kins, you're a rat, not able to communicate this.
Nope.
But you can hear / smell the presence of that same guy out on the deck. Like you just because of this ability, basically I'm gonna say that, and you're not like that far away, but you can basically sense that this guy is now on the main deck of the ship, and you're able to hear that he is kind of shouting orders to everybody.
Okay.
And you guys have to role play this. Like, Kira, you don't know this,
Right.
and you're very confused at what's going on. And Kins, you can't necessarily communicate what you know.
No. If we're invisible, can like if I'm pulling on, let's say, cloth, like can I feel that? Like how does invisibility work in the sense of like this is actually happening, but we're just invisible and I can't necessarily tell what I'm grabbing?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
You're just like holding on. You can't see yourself or what you're holding on to.
I'm imagining myself I don't know. The only rat that is coming to my mind right now is the rat from Ratatouille, so I'm just imagining that. But I'm like grabbing with my little rat claws or whatever, and I'm pulling as if to like pull Kira like kind of off to the edge of wherever, like kind of away from the center of where we were, to kind of move off to the side.
Make a performance check.
Performance is Kins.
And this is going to be rat stats.
Rat stats. All right, charisma. Oh no.
On a
Not
rat.
for
I was like,
charisma.
No.
That would be druid stats.
Yeah, no, but he said rat stats.
Oh.
But it's -3.
I was gonna say, I'm not thinking it's high charisma on a rat.
Oh, 15.
15. Okay. 15. So you
impressive.
feel you've almost forgotten Kins was there, with the exception of the occasional like pinch, but you feel this intense tugging, like in the way that Kins is describing, on your shoulder.
Kins, what are you doing?
Oh my gosh. I'm just making the tiniest little squeaking noises, like.
Oh, you want me to go this way? Okay. All right. I'll start to like shimmy very slowly towards the direction that she seems to be yanking my shoulder on. And just like I don't know. I guess that seems to be probably as far as I. Is he gone?
Kira, make an insight check.
Oh, thank God, that's a little bit better than. I think. Oh man.
Question.
Where's all those nat 20s?
I was gonna say, are we gonna pay for all those nat? But no, that's
18.
good. That's good.
18. Okay. I would say that with an 18, you are able to vaguely discern the intent of this
Of a rat.
this pulling and prodding, and like you don't know. You obviously wouldn't know why, but obviously the rat is trying to pull you in this direction.
Okay, based on those tugs, it seems fairly clear that he's not in the room anymore, that he's out on the deck shouting orders.
Oh.
And is it a cheeseburger for lunch? All right, perfect. We're going in. So I'll make to kind of like I guess we're behind all these windows, right? So I'm gonna use my thieves' tools and pop the lock on one of these windows and climb in the room.
Make a dexterity check plus proficiency.
Okay. That's a 17.
The lock pops open.
Ooh.
It's not even this is not a heavily locked window. It's relatively easy to open it, and it opens, and as you open it, the wind rushes in and the candles inside flicker, and the parchments kind of a little bit as everything settles. And there's quite a commotion outside. This is your moment.
Okay. I'm
Does
gonna
it
go
look
straight,
empty?
straight to the map on the desk that had the location on
Oh
it.
no. Okay. Well,
Um,
I'm on your shoulder, I
Kira,
guess.
You are. I'm gonna not bother to try to figure it out now. We're just gonna roll that shit up. Right in the pack. Out
Okay,
the window.
are you trying to be stealthy as you go in?
I would like to think so, yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
pass without
make a
trace.
stealth check.
Stealth check. All right. You got it.
Hold that roll once you get it. I'm going to come back to that in a second. We're going to cut.
I think I have advantage with this because of the cloak.
Cloak of
Of
Elven kind.
invisibility.
Yes.
It's
Oh,
of
yeah.
invisibility.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
and
yeah.
because of
You're
invisibility, yeah,
invisible,
yeah. So
right,
you got
yep.
you got
So-
advantage no matter how you do it, yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
you do have advantage.
And plus
so-
10. Well,
Pass
there you
without
go.
trace.
And you have the plus
There's-
10. Pass without trace.
Wow.
But that's
Plus
a
10
Hold that
on
roll.
that?
Hold that roll.
okay. We won't
Hold
say
it.
anything.
Hold
We'll
that
leave it
roll.
as a
We'll
surprise.
see. We'll see
Okay.
what it is.
Okay. Belrissa, you're currently on the ground. Remus is like holding you, like doing his best to shield you from the incoming cannon fire.
Uh-huh.
A few moments pass. You can see. You look around and there's a lot of confusion. No more has come. Nothing's happening. Everybody's staying down. The tension in his arm relaxes a little bit as he. Are you all right? Did you see anything? Was it that ship? Was it Was it the Grey Tide?
She's not gonna tell him.
She just doesn't speak at all.
Are you
She's just like,
are you in shock? Are you what's his kids?
Remus.
Yes. Are you hurt?
No. Hey. Don't get mad.
oh no.
Say, I'm like behind you, like
No. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so look, Jessie and Vin were sparring out on the water, and I wanted to add a little spice to their battle, and I didn't think it would be that big. It's not the pirates. Nothing's wrong. You can call your people off. I am being very persuasive. It was an accident. I meant to like.
Remus, it would not be the first time that Belrissa has attacked me with her magic.
Belrissa,
Just
make
something we know.
make a persuasion check
Okay.
for him to not be super angry with you.
Wow.
Okay.
That was a zone of truth for real, Jessie.
28.
My God.
Yeah.
He runs his fingers through his hair. You know the his his signature move, just dealing with you guys. And he goes, "False alarm! No cannon fire!
Nope.
No cannon fire! Just a test! Just a test! Nothing to be worried. You men, you dial it back." You know,
hey,
he just
what-
starts.
good,
Come
hey,
on. It's all
great
good.
response, everybody. This was
It's a great.
Kira. We will tell. No, not Kira.
That was the tornado signal, just so everyone knows.
Don't think about
No.
Kira. We meant
a
Kith.
test.
Kith will be proud of you all. No one needs to wonder where Kira is. It's all good.
He stands up and kind of like, brushes all the dirt off of his shirt and adjusts his stuff, and he just kind of like gives you this look like,
It will never happen again. I'm so sorry. I gave him a hug.
I trust that I don't need to tell you how irresponsible that was.
You give him a.
Hey, it's
Bring
Let's-
it in.
Let's hug it out. Don't just
Big hug.
So warm. So warm.
no. He says I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Please, trust I don't need to tell you not to do that again.
Of course not. Never.
That was
Never
absurd.
again.
No,
Absolutely.
one time we were fighting these undead, and I was on the ground, and Belrissa hit me in the back of the head with a spell. knocked me
I don't recall
unconscious.
that
But we're good.
happening.
I'm good. I'm good.
He reaches into his kind of underneath his coat here, and he pulls out what looks like a little flask, and he just tilts it back, and cap goes back on.
What is that? What's that?
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
And he just walks off into the dark. There's like 40 people down at the docks with like weapons, and like people have rolled artillery down.
Great.
They're just like,
Great. Great. Excellent response, guys. Excellent.
This
Good
is
job,
just
good
a
job.
drill.
That's right.
Kira.
Okay.
Belrissa, why did you do that?
Okay, so Kira's on the ship, and she saw this map, and she needed a diversion, and she wanted fireworks, and I delivered.
You know what? That makes perfect sense.
Thank you.
Excellent work.
Thank you.
I'm glad you didn't cast that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Things have calmed down a little bit on shore. Not more than a minute or two has passed. You spent about half of that time deliberating whether or not to go inside, trying to communicate with an invisible rat on your shoulder, who may or not even be there. Are you going crazy? I don't know. But you went in.
I did do that.
You went inside, and you rolled stealth. And what was that roll, sir?
43.
Oh, we broke the DM.
That's so many.
It was a lot of stealth.
All the stealths.
2 nat 20s plus a little extra.
You rolled a 43.
I did. So the stealth check is plus 13.
I believe you.
Okay. So then plus pass without a trace. So yeah, 43.
Let chat dictate for the record that, or notate for the record rather, that's definitely the highest roll I think I've ever seen in a D&D game on my watch. So, well done. You now hold the crown, sir. 43. Okay.
43.
So, you jump in. You land. There's like, as you dive in, you like shift your weight a little bit, and you're able to like just lean on the arm. So as your feet come down, one foot lands on the edge of a carpet, and it slides a little bit, and you kind of catch yourself, and the creaking of the floor like board that happens, you're able to like match it with the like rocking of the way, like everything's just perfectly dialed in, and you end up kind of spinning on the carpet, and you kind of just lean back against the wall. You've made virtually no sound jumping in here. You even managed to pull the window closed, just not all the way because you got to get back out, but most of the way, and everything, man, that was something else. You're now huddled with your back against the back wall. Right in front of you to your left is the captain's desk that had there's a bunch of navigational tools on it, and what you were most interested in, the charts. You stand up. What do you want to do?
I mean, barring any, the commotion obviously is wearing down. So I assume that much like in a video game, when you throw a bottle cap or something in a corner, eventually that guy's gonna come back to the normal route here. So
Continue his loop.
You're gonna leash.
Hold on there. What's that?
So yeah, I'm gonna try to be quick about this, but Kira, based on that nat 20, is feeling a little arrogant, I think. And first, I'm gonna take as many charts as I can, roll them up into a chart wand.
Burrito.
In the backpack. I'll turn to leave, but before I do that, I'm gonna take one quiet little step back towards the window, turn back, and just see that there's like some really nice like Monterey Jack cheese cubes and a few olives there, and I'm just a quick little sip of wine, and we'll go towards the window.
Okay. It's about the time when you reach for the cheese.
Uh-oh. I knew I should have pulled on you as soon as you reached for the cheese and
Now-
the rat didn't.
Now I'll tell you what. You're like dancing between creaky floorboards. You're like ballet spinning like around the room, like it doesn't get more stealthy than this. But what happens is, as you reach out to grab that little piece of Monterey Jack, you notice something. Your hand is very visible.
F's.
And you look over, and there's a rat sniffing at that cheese like...
Oh no.
There's no invisibility happening.
Oh no. And I see Kira now. Kira sees me.
And Kins, you notice at the same time that both of you are quite visible, and Ziggy is
Great.
he's just passed out, sleeping on the other shoulder. Just
This cat. Maybe
Fair.
the death of us.
you grab your cheese, you sip your wine. It's quite good. It's a dry cab. You you
lovely.
make your way
Very nice.
back to the window. What do you want to do?
I would like to just maybe check to see if I hear footsteps outside or a call, before we kind of start to make a clatter climbing back out the window.
Make a perception check.
Well, since I'm here and I'm a rat and I feel a little bit safer than Kira, I'm going to glance the room to see if, is there like a, I don't know, a name placard on this guy's desk or anything that has journal with a
Engraved in
name?
ornate bronze.
Or just
Great.
like a family tree or something that has names on it.
Grey
Kira's gonna
gaze,
roll a 7.
Cobb.
So,
Um,
yeah, I mean, you still hear the commotion outside, and as you have surmised already, it's dying down, but you don't hear anything specific, and it seems as good a time as any to make your move. Kira, Kins. You guys' names are very close together.
The Buddy Cop show coming to you soon.
The
this
Kikis.
summer.
Kira and Kittens.
You, make a perception check.
Okay.
Actually,
18. Oh.
This would be
I can reroll.
investigation.
Yeah, I rolled before you said, so as soon as I rolled, I was like, he's probably going to say, oh, that's better, 21.
21. Okay. So as you quickly kind of investigate the room, what are you looking for? You're looking around for just anything that catches your little bulbous rat eyes. And you're looking around, and it's very distracting. The cheese is right there, but looking around, you see there are several lanterns kind of hanging, kind of swaying with the breeze. There's pretty typical fare for what you might imagine would be in a captain's quarters. There's various chests and lockers that are closed. It's definitely neat. This guy, he's obviously not messy, and he's recently had guests, and he's got furniture that's clearly laid out for when he has, when he's entertaining and having meetings or whatnot. He's got his desk. His desk is probably the messiest thing, though Kira has just grabbed a bunch of stuff off of that. There's, it's pretty kind of standard what you'd expect. There's nothing that jumps out at you as like ultra interesting.
And it's all old, just like the ship looks.
Yeah, and the ship doesn't necessarily look old. It just doesn't
Okay.
look brand new.
Gotcha.
It looks like you'd expect a ship to look that's been out in the water for years. Versus one of the things that you had heard tale of, and Kira had yes,
Kira,
doing it
yes.
again. Kira had mentioned this earlier, that like one of the parts of the legend of the Grey Tide and of Captain Greygaze's ship is that the ship has never taken damage in battle, and it's like this perfect thing, and that's part of the legend, and you guys are kind of saying like, oh, okay, wait a second,
Okay.
Anyway,
Lies.
that's what you
All
notice.
right. I'll scurry over
Yeah,
to
I'm
the
gonna
window.
just
So
scoop you up, put you on my shoulder like Ratatouille again, and we'll just. It's a pretty good cheese. Isn't it? Yeah. All right, come on. Yeah. Push that little half-open window back open again, and hopski-outski.
As you hop out, standing on the balcony, to your right, leaning casually with his back against the window, is Captain Greygaze. Staring out backwards over the stern. You hear a voice. You kind of see him out of the corner of your eye, and this happens all at the same time as you're realizing what's happening, and you hear, "You could have just knocked. Though I have to say I am impressed. Getting up here must not have been easy. But I'm afraid magical wards care not for how stealthy we are." And he holds up what looks to be one of the lanterns that you saw hanging And he kind of just taps it a little bit as it sways, and he says, "These old boys keep my quarters free of unwanted illusion and enchantments. Quite handy, wouldn't you say?" And he kind of looks over and just kind of gives you a little smirk, half smile.
Kira will.
I am burrowed underneath your brooch.
Kira's going to, obviously, I think heard the voice leaving the other way, didn't see him. So is startled by the voice, but has, since he's decided to go on this thing about his lanterns, has taken that 4 or 5 seconds to realize that now another game is about to be played. And we'll turn around with an equally interesting smirk. So it would seem.
He's still kind of like, as you guys you meet his eyes. Your eyes lock for a moment, both of you, kind of with a bit of a, you both know the game is afoot here, and he looks back just out the back, which he'd be looking to the west as he's just gazing out at the stars at this point. Puts the lantern down, crosses his arms. He says, "A fine trick your friend pulled. Even had me fooled." And he turns around, looks into the cabin, kind of gazes in, almost in the same way that you would have when you were first there. And he says, "I've just had a wonderful evening with an old friend who speaks very highly of you and your companions. I had intended to send a runner, but you've saved me the trouble. Pray, join me for breakfast here tomorrow morning. I have a proposition for you." And as you look over at him, he's gone. And you feel a tugging behind you as he's pulling the maps out from your backpack.
I will be startled again, and then as I feel the maps being slid out from the backpack, smile to myself, knowing that this is not something I can win. And I will turn around and say, "I should accept your invitation, and if the breakfast is half as good as the cab on the table there, I'm quite excited. So, looking much forward to it."
You get a bit of a half nod, still got a smirk on his face, kind of that, like, just that same, that same half smile.
It's
Grabs
two arrogant
things,
assholes trying to have a conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You both know what's going on here. So he rolls the maps up a little tighter, just gives you a nod, and turns away from you and begins to walk. And the balcony kind of wraps around, and there's like an opening that goes to the front of the deck. Without looking at you again, he just says, "I'll see you in the morning." And you hear, he says, "And don't worry, you won't be needing these." And he kind of walks around and just basically just leaves you there.
Okay.
All right, I have a question. Since we are now visible, which I'm pretty sure lasts an hour, does that also mean water walk is out? I'm not gonna try, so I'm going to untransform from my rat form and just, pop. Or I'm gonna hop off Kira first, yeah. Then I'll untransform.
Suddenly, Kira's like, "Oh!"
Oh my god! Oh!
Straight to polar bear form.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. I'm a rat. I'm not a rat. I'm not a rat anymore. Hello. Oh my gosh.
If warning next time might not be the worst thing in the world. Okay, well, that could have gone a bit better, I think, actually. I mean, who could have predicted magic revealing lanterns? I mean, honestly, it's not really something that you see all the time.
I've literally never seen that before.
Right. So, I don't think that's our fault. I think that's he's got stuff we've not even heard of. That's crazy. I think, we did great. High five. Like, we did really good.
Oh, yeah. Wait, can you tell Ziggy to tell Melrissa that we're coming back? Or Ziggy, wake up.
Cat, wake up. Poke Ziggy. Just,
Hey.
Wake up.
Yeah.
We've been discovered, you imbecile. Can you please tell Belrissa that we'll be returning shortly?
Damn it, Ziggy.
And he just does that cat stretch thing and like the claws on your back. Just
Gracious, and you wanted to come.
hey, yeah, she knows. She's yeah. And Belrissa, you get like this awkward message that's like half asleep. Ziggy. He's just like, they're coming back. That's it. That's all he says. They're coming back.
Kira's gonna walk around to the front of the deck. I'm assuming there are still some people on the deck.
Yeah,
working.
and as you walk around, they all kind of look over at you. Like a couple of them are like, "The hell," and then the captain is basically just entering into his quarters, and he notices you walking around, and just looks back and kind of nods. I would say you get the impression that they're kind of used to this kind of weird thing, and they all just kind of like, there's like a second of like, huh? Oh, okay, whatever, you know. And
So at this point, Kira's Kira's of two minds. She's really psyched on the whole evening. Great bit of cheese and wine, super awesome stealth sesh. Like really feels good, but at the same time, absolutely just got spanked by this dude in like a matter of seconds. So like the ego's definitely taking a little bit of a hit right now. But like she's gonna keep rolling, pretending that it's like really good. She's gonna look at like the nearest. You over there with the captain's guest. We need a ship to get back to shore. And it's like expect like a lifeboat or something to be prepared for her to get onto the thing. For me, this one and the cat I suppose as well can come unless you want to keep him.
make.
Oh, he can fly.
So there's like a swabby there, like he's just kind of like, you know, he's like, yeah, I know what's going on, you know, he's like the young guy. You just your instinct like targets like the weakest one amongst them, you know, and goes for this guy. Make a persuasion check.
All right. 18.
Ooh.
18. Yes, yes, madam. Lifeboat. We don't have any of.
Not got a lifeboat
There.
or skiff or something. Surely your men had to get ashore somehow. You've used all the boats. Well, if you wanted to go ashore, what would you do? Swim?
You're just berating this.
Poor person.
He's like, I just washed the decks. That's all I did.
Yeah. Hold on. I'll. And it just kind of rushes down, and he runs over and talks. You can see him like asking somebody like what to do, and the guy's just like, get the, you know, figure it out. And so he runs over to basically to one side, and just so happens as he looks over, there is a rowboat pulling up to the side, a small little skiff, and that contains all the guys who had rushed out, you know, on their way back to deal with the cannon fire, which was not a real thing, and they're all confused, and they're ready to get back on. And he says, please climb down, and I'll take you. So you convince this kid to row you back. And
Jay,
yes,
are Cobb and Velma, where are they?
so they
Did
took
we
a
see
boat.
them on shore?
They took a boat back, but I don't think you guys would have seen them actually, because
They took a different
Also-
route.
yeah,
Can I
because
ask a
Cobb's
question?
deal is like farther down
Or,
to the side,
Understood.
and they just took a boat that way. Yeah.
So at the time that Grey Gaze confronted us, Kins was still a rat.
Mhm.
I've never met these two people, and yet he says that they just got done talking about how a glowing review of me and my companions. Where does that? Because he wouldn't know me
Mhm.
necessarily, right?
Correct.
Unless he does.
You don't know.
Well, then how did he know that those people were giving a glowing review of? Oh,
Don't know.
we don't know. He's
Yeah.
omniscient. Okay, cool. Just making sure.
I don't know. Perhaps you could have made an insight check, but but you don't know.
Come too far.
But in my arrogance, I decided I was beaten.
Instead, you were going to
See?
smirk
Everyone.
at him.
Everyone is against us. Constant insight checks.
Every time you talk to someone, ever making it. No, just kidding. Don't do that. But no, you. I mean those were the words he said, and you are unclear on how or why he would
No, me.
have said that.
Word. Okay. Okay.
I think it's perfectly natural that Kira would be like, well, how does he know that? You know.
Okay, so we're sitting in the boat, and
Kins is just watching Kira.
Yeah.
She is not this like confident or dominant in conversation. So she's just kind of like studying Kira. Like, what is happening? How do I learn from this?
Goodness gracious, lad, we've been in the water for an hour now. Could you please chop? It's only 400 yards. You've surely got stronger arms than that working on a ship that size. Clearly.
So this young kid, he's probably like 16 years old, human. He's rowing this boat as hard as he can and won't stop staring at you. And he's like puffing out his chest. He's like, I got the, you know, he's going for it here. He's trying to look good. And then when you say that, he's like trying to row as fast as he can, but he's not really good at this. He's like a little, you know, it's like kind of like it's hard to row both at the same. He's new at this. You eventually get back to the dock, and I assume Jessie, Vin, and Belrissa are still around.
Yeah, Jay, while they're rowing back, I want to take a look at the ship with the spyglass and see if that does anything.
Okay.
I don't know if it reaches or not, or...
You use a charge to look through your star glass. What do we call that thing? The star glass?
Spyglass, starglass.
We've been calling it
The
spyglass.
telescope thing.
Spyglass of
Super cool
star sight?
telescopy things.
Yeah.
Star glass.
What was that red flicker camera with the slides in it you had as a kid?
Starglass.
It is the star glass.
Starglass of true seeing.
Oh.
Good memory, Jay.
Good
Well
job.
done.
Thank you. Star glass of true seeing. So you look through it, and it takes a charge to use this. But as you look through it, Belrissa, the illusion fades, and you see exactly what they saw. And you are able to use the true sight ability granted by the spyglass to see the true nature of the gray tide.
So basically the same ship, just way more run down.
Yep. It's basically like, imagine just like an illusion just plastered over the whole thing. And it's not like it's about to sink or anything. It's just, you know, it doesn't look like this pristine, perfect vessel.
Also, before we arrive, I think that as I'm watching Timmy rows a lot, try to impress me. I'll when he puffs out his chest further, I'll give him a little eye roll and just look at Kins like he's not even there. And just like, you know, he said something quite curious, didn't he? He said that the two folks inside were giving him a glowing recommendation of all of us. But
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Velma and Cobb.
Yeah,
I know
I
you don't
suppose.
know them, but
I don't. But how would he? Did that not strike you as a bit odd? That he decided to, like, you know. he would
oh,
have done
you
in my
know,
case. You
sometimes
were a
I
wee
forget
rat.
that I'm a rat and I think that I'm kin, so I didn't even think about, like, I was just like, oh yeah, you're those people. So, oh, whoops. Well, I guess you're one of us now. Everyone knows who you are. Welcome
like
to the
that.
famous club. People are going to hate you. People are going to love you.
That's perfect. And we're gonna have breakfast tomorrow for free. Sounds like.
Well, I don't know. I don't really trust people. We had an incident with hags that has really sent me down this rabbit hole of who I should trust. We did get caught stealing from this guy. I find it a little suspicious that he's like, oh, come eat breakfast with us.
I mean, in fairness, we didn't steal anything. You took it all back.
Attempted stealing. I don't know.
Kira will reach into her little like side pouch, and with reveal one other cube of cheese and just. Well, I suppose we got at least one thing. But doesn't throw it up and eat that real quick.
Well, I guess it's not poisoned. I guess.
I've got to be honest with you. I've spent the whole time we were apart. I spent a lot of that time with pirates. Many pirates. Pirates of all kinds. Hunting them, killing them, stealing from them, spying on them, you name it. We all the time around the pirates, and not once have I.
Are
ever
they
been
as
invited
nice as that guy?
to breakfast? So, you know, I mean, you may not be inclined to trust him. I'm not saying we should trust him, but also, you know, he's the first pirate to offer me a meal.
So, but that looked like a legit pirate, though, right? Like, I know that the ship looks. I mean, the ship looking from the outside, and then when we actually got to
Right.
the ship, it was a little off.
It's a
But
bit odd, for sure. The ship is clearly in a bit worse for wear than what appears on the outside. But By the way, Jay, I don't know if this is accurate, but I'm picturing based on the description of Grey Gaze. Do you guys remember in Pirates of the Caribbean when Johnny Depp's dad shows up at the end and he's I forget which rock and roll star he actually was, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm picturing. Is that pretty close?
No, not quite. Why can I not think of his name? From the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Keith Richards.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So, no, he's
So it wasn't Keith Richards, is what you're telling me.
no. I would picture more like an Aragorn type of figure. Like he has kind of like long, greasy black hair. He's got an eye patch.
Okay.
He looks. He's kind of like that. He appears human. You would probably guess like mid to late 40s, maybe early 50s in age. Got some grays in his hair. Clearly like very worn armor. Like he's put together. He presents himself very well, but also he's like clearly been. He's no stranger to to fighting, to conflict, to action either.
Okay. Okay.
That's kind of the vibe you get from this guy.
Okay, so he's as capable as he is in charge.
Correct. Yeah. You would 100% get a very confident, very like I run the show vibe from this guy.
Now, on top of that, kids, most of the pirates I've dealt with, aside from having never invited me to a meal, they've not looked quite as refined and educated, not spoken so well. They're usually missing teeth. They growl at you a lot. They've got gold somewhere on their bodies, piercings and whatnot. It's quite gross most of the time.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions.
I mean,
Lantern, veiling your ship, and most importantly, I mean, the others, we can all fill you in, but Cobb and Velma are very good friends. We fought with them, and I don't know why or how. I don't get it. I don't know.
I suppose that suppose we'll find out more tomorrow. Is it safe to say that we've made it to the shore?
Yeah, you're on the dock.
Okay.
In fact, it's been probably like 2 or 3 minutes of conversation and just kind of getting your bearings again. And you turn around and the young kid is still just standing there, like waiting for his next. Like,
Yeah, just in front of the kid, talking about the captain and pirates in front of
No problem.
the kid.
No problem.
All right,
Oh,
boy.
gosh.
What's your name then?
Jones. Hey, do you need to go back?
Jones.
I can.
Jones.
John.
That's
Jones.
your first name. is
Jones.
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 No. John. It could be Jones. I mean, I go.
Okay.
I go by John.
Jones.
Jones is
Sorry.
fine. Yeah.
Speak up, lad. Enunciate.
Whatever you-
want hearing you.
Whatever you want to call me is fine.
Listen, Johns. The captain's invited us for breakfast. Me and all my compatriots as well. So it's going to be. You need a bigger boat than this one, and I'm going to need you to be here dawn, no later, tomorrow morning. This dock right here, same spot. Okay.
This spot right here.
This one right here, I promise. And
It's a bigger boat.
you can bring some of your mates if you want, but it's going to take. If it was as slow a ride back to the ship as it was getting back to shore tonight, then there's going to be a bit of a problem, isn't there?
Oh gosh.
Right.
So Kins is like looking around the ground. She's picking up like any sort of like, I don't know, a weed or something. And she's like using her druid craft to make it blossom. And she's going to offer, thank you for the ride. I feel like I need to be good cop here. I don't know.
Okay.
Keep it up.
Not
Keep up
money,
the great work. No, not
Just
money.
a weed.
Just a weed.
It's a little flower weed.
He takes the flower weed from you.
All
He looks
flowers
Kins
are
up and
weeds.
down and he goes, "Yeah, I'll be here in the morning." And he just beams at you.
This guy's a bard.
Kira does not exist
no.
anymore.
Oh dear.
All eyes for Kins. He's like,
All right, take care.
looks over at Belrissa, like, "I'll be here." And he
Oh,
kind
hey,
of
fella.
stumbles back, like he's about to step into the boat. Kind of stumbles, like he's like, he just
Dawn.
starts to-
Dawn. Say it back.
Dawn.
Good work. The good lad.
Oh
He just
dear.
starts rowing back.
We need
You
to
look
find a happy medium between those two. Kira and Kins, no.
you look over and there's just a Portsmouth local, just kind of like just giving you.
So I'll walk past that local guy, give him a look at bloody pirates, am I right? And just start walking back over to meet up.
He's just
with the
randomly sweeping for some reason. What does he even sweep? I don't know. Doesn't matter. You guys head back
I can't.
towards the sleeping saver. What do you want to do?
I assume you just fill us in on the thing.
So it turns out Grey Gaze is quite handsome. It's a bit of a bummer. I was hoping he'd be a bit of a wretch. Unfortunately, he's much smarter, much more educated. Outsmarted me, that's for sure. Then let's walk off the ship like nothing happened. We're all going to be there for breakfast tomorrow, so get some,
Is that hold on? Breakfast?
Yes, we're going to be the pirate, the bloody Grey Gaze, notorious missing for years pirate that I told you all about. Rumors, ooh, spooky. He can teleport himself around. I don't know how he does it. He's got magic lanterns. It's quite creepy.
Sweet.
And tomorrow we're going to go for breakfast.
No, not sweet. We have a magical pirate who's inviting us for breakfast. This doesn't seem. We tried to
Breakfast.
steal from him.
This is a win-win. I don't understand.
Hey, Jessie.
What do you think he's going to serve? Yeah.
I can
I
make
mean,
some
you
good
seem
berries.
to make probably our best connection with Cobb.
Food? Cobb. What about?
Cobb.
Oh, Cobb. Yes.
Cobb was
That's
in
connection
the
with food too, hands down.
yeah, but Cobb was in the room.
And so
What
was
if we
Velma.
What if we take a little stroll to Cobb's place before we head back to the?
We
sleeping
can
saver?
totally hang out with Cobb.
What
I'm
time
not
is it?
like
He's gonna be so mad
particularly
at us.
surprised to hear this.
I
It's
don't
like,
want to hang out with Cobb, but I
Cobb's
want to
kind of a
ask him.
badass. He's basically a pirate of the, of his
Oh,
own.
Velma doesn't like you though, Ben.
Me?
Well,
oh,
Ben.
yeah, Velma
Yeah,
likes
I
me.
I think you need to stand in the back.
I
Velma
may
and I
not
are
go
like the
inside
same
the
age.
house, but yes,
Okay.
Jessie could talk. I just want to know before we show up for breakfast in the morning on the pirate ship, like why were they there, and how do
Can
they
we
know
go-
this guy?
Can we go in the morning?
No,
I mean,
Cobb
it's gotta
stays
be
up in
like
the morning.
No, we're having breakfast in the morning.
5
and we are
a.m.
also having. yeah.
Like Cobb leaves town
He
before
goes
the
to
sun
fish.
comes up.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
am
waking up that
still-
early.
Just the
Even though
round,
I
red-faced
bathed.
chubby chap that was sitting in the room with the captain there.
That's not very nice.
Yeah, that one.
But that was him.
somebody
Yeah,
else.
he's a little bit of a grump usually, but he seemed quite pleasant in there.
Yeah, I bet
Do
he's
I
in a
look like
great
Cobb?
mood now, so it's perfect time.
Yeah, I mean, clearly they're awake. They just got back. I mean, they can't have gotten back more than.
If
5
we're
or
gonna
10
pop
minutes
by,
ago.
we should bring him some beer.
Yeah, we should take the beer and walk it over.
Let me grab
Okay.
a couple. Let me grab a couple mugs.
All right.
Half a
And then,
mug
yeah.
for Velma,
Also,
and we'll rock out.
should we talk to the guys again that we rescued and maybe get more of a story just so we know their side of it? Or
Why don't we do that? How
Yes,
about
we
you
should
and I
split.
talk to? How about you and I talk to the sailors, and
yeah.
then Jessie and Kins.
Oh yeah.
Kira, come with us. To
You need
see
to
Velma.
meet Cobb and Velma, so we'll introduce you.
Yes.
Just a side
You
note.
and Kins as a combo are basically Velma's mother. So
Speaking
What?
it's
to another rogue, like I
Oh.
think
she needs a
I
motherly.
think, I think Velma has some like rogue potential. So keep your eyes up. Who knows? Maybe future.
she's a
but-
murderer, stone cold.
Keep an eye on her.
Yeah, maybe don't talk to Velma, Joshi.
But yeah, let's.
Velma and I, we get each other. We're
Okay,
the
don't
same
call her a
generation.
murderer.
We are of the same generation, as are
The
you,
same
if I'm not
generation.
mistaken.
I am. Yes, we
So
are.
maybe
I'm a bit
Okay.
older.
you're older than me.
How old are you?
I
two?
don't know. I think you are older than me. I
I'm
don't
in
know.
my
Look.
20s.
Quite young. You're in your 20s. That's
I'm-
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
I-
is really
Jesse's
young
older
for
than
a
me.
dwarf.
Oh my god.
He's like a child, basically.
I'm older than you. You're like the youngest half elf I've ever met.
I'm 84 years
He's a
old.
grove. No, not you. Kins.
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
the youngest grove keeper in history. I think
Yeah, by like hundreds of years margins.
that's a title that I hold. It's inscribed in my shield right here. You see?
Is it actually inscribed there?
I do my mold earth really fast and show it to Jeshi. It's written on there.
Magic is so cool.
All right,
Yeah, I'm
so
ready. Let
we'll
me
go.
I grab
We're
the
back.
beer.
We'll
I grab a
talk to
couple
them.
mugs of beer, and
Y'all go talk to the
All
other
right.
guys.
So you guys are
Okay.
going down to
Also,
down Cobb ship.
Belissa, when I asked Ziggy did say we were looking for fireworks, right?
Fireworks,
The distraction was
fireball.
lovely, but it was a bit of an explosion.
Well, Ziggy also fell asleep mid mission, so I feel like he just
Then
kind of
why you
half
put up with
explained
that
it.
Useless wretch.
You didn't like the fireball?
Oh, I loved it.
It was
Oh.
great.
Just, I think I,
But then
I heard
everyone
a bit of
panicked.
panic from the shore. Was everything okay over here?
Oh,
It
it was
meaning.
It was fine. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, it was like a test for them. It was
Thinking
fine.
a bit like firework, like a bit of a celebration kind that turned green and whatnot. They sparkle a bit.
Yeah, I tried, but it just
Okay.
misfire.
Either way, it was lovely.
Thank you.
It's kind of scary. It worked though.
Sure got the pirates going, that's for sure.
I will say, impressed with the response time. These guys have been doing some good work. Good work
Make a
for the
note.
city guard.
Make a note, yes, for when we have our, census episode.
That's right.
We can talk to everyone about response time.
There
And
will be at least 5.
City
how can we
planning.
get a
and drills,
5%
right?
increase
That's right.
on all of our important metrics?
Oh, we're gonna
Yeah.
put metrics and
Our response time.
Goals and
Response time.
improvements.
Yes.
Document this quarterly.
Positioning.
Don't know what's
How
up with that
well
sweeper
the
guy.
culprit is questioned.
The sweeper
Why is
guy.
the
Real
mayor on
helpful.
the front lines? Is an important question.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Okay.
All right.
So-
Nobody asked
Okay.
me and you any questions.
You guys head
That's
down to Cobb's. Who's going inside and who's going outside?
Vin and I are talking to the sailors. We're staying back.
Yep.
Got it. Okay. So
And the three of
two
them
are
are
It's up to
headed
headed
out.
out.
Kira. Kira, you want to
You
go
can
with
do
us
whatever
to
you
Cobb?
want, Kira.
I do. I'll go with you, but I'm not sure I want to meet these folks as much as I want to learn about them.
Yeah.
They're great.
Hang and watch.
And maybe Kins, you might get the idea that I'm plotting something a bit bit less moral than.
Salt of the earth. You're gonna love. it.
I'm just like putting my fingers in my ears. I don't want to hear this illicit plan. Like, just do whatever you
Super
want.
cranky. Really cranky.
Have they got a large house?
Oh,
Oh,
They're just fisher
normal
people.
house. That,
Yeah.
So
it's like a little shack right next to the
when we
docks.
first got here, as we walk, I'll tell you the story. When we first got here to Portsmouth, they were out of metal, and apparently, well, we know for sure, but now there's an iron mine on that island. You see it out. Well, it's dark, but it's that way.
I can't see the island.
It's not far. It's right there. This is
got
the
dark
island
vision, but
that
it's-
Kins is the grove keeper of.
Oh,
He's
that's
like-
the one you keep talking about with your boyfriend. The
Boyfriend,
right, the big ugly farmer man who's.
Rowan, he's like 50.
Who is this? Who are we talking about?
It was the guy who lost the cows. We was just
Kins
over
is
there.
dating
Oh my
someone?
God.
The way they look at each other, it's quite
Oh
adorable.
my gosh, is this how Vin feels? I'm never gonna make fun of him
I have
ever
got
again.
to meet this guy.
You do. He's a lovely gentleman. I've a bit older than I would have picked for Kins myself, but I think seeing them together,
Oh dear.
Okay.
they've clearly got a connection.
Love is love. I'm not
talking
worried
quietly.
about it.
I didn't hear what they were saying, but they thought I wasn't paying attention. But I could see
sorry,
that they were having
what?
a little flittering in the corner. It was like it was a.
I told you, Rowan was happy that we were back to save the town.
Right. You saved his town, all right, didn't you? Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay.
So,
So that's the island, anyway. I've heard about it.
That
It's
is
sort
the
of in-
island,
in
yes.
Passing, right.
well, it
charge
was
of
like
that
covered.
island.
There was like a perpetual storm created by a storm giant.
Oh,
Yeah, it was crazy.
I've
And
not
like
seen one of
nobody
those.
goes out there. Oh, it's super cool. You'll meet him. He's Figper. Great guy.
oh, you talked to them. You
Big
talked to the
bird.
storm giants.
Great guy.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you'll
Oh.
meet him. You'll meet him. A
Super
couple
nice.
thousand years old.
Oh.
Great. Salt of the
Okay, 1,000 years old.
A couple thousand. Couple thousand.
Couple thousand.
Couple thousand.
And he's still
Popped over.
living.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh wow.
He like lives in the water.
He can
It's
walk
very confusing.
on the ground of the ocean, just like
So he's
walking
quite
around.
large. When you say he's a storm giant, he's really giant. He's really
He's
big.
a full-on giant.
He's really.
He's like
okay.
30 feet tall, yeah.
Holy smokes!
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Very, very tall. Very tall.
Does he have good
So-
jokes?
Does he have good jokes?
Yeah,
he
is he-
didn't
is
tell
he
me
good?
any jokes.
He didn't tell any joke. You don't. Giants don't tell
No, we
jokes.
were battling evil hags when we met him, so it wasn't really
He was kind of under a
funniest
spell.
circumstance.
You're fighting the hags and be like, oh, what are you doing on the weekends? Like, what are you?
Oh, well, he was kind of possessed. He had
Oh.
like the magic, they were controlling him with magic. This magic.
You know how
ring.
Vin used to be a
Giant.
robot?
Was possessed.
Vin used to be a robot. This
No,
is
I-
where that happened.
Oh.
Yeah, he was.
Oh.
So now he's a dro.
The storm
Drow.
giant made you a robot.
No.
Oh no. Okay.
Uh,
But ridiculous.
I love this
Vin-
visual of Jessie trying to explain this and it making no sense. Kira
my
just being
gosh.
polite, trying your damnedest to understand.
So
as
Cobb had a ship
Jessie
covered
does.
in
Right.
metal. It was awesome.
Oh, the metal
We're
ship.
here.
Bing bong.
Ding dong.
So as you approach, if you recall, so Cobb's ship is the Bastion, and it's a fishing vessel, but one side of it only is basically covered in like steel plates. And as you get a little closer, you notice that most of them have been retrofitted since the new metal has been coming in, and he has these plates on his ship because you guys battle steel spines. These basically these large eel-like fish, which are capable of sinking a ship. But also, if you can catch them, they feed a family for a month type of situation, right?
One of them tried to pull me in half.
Yeah. Also, favorite food of turtles.
Yeah.
But Cobb was like the only guy, like, you know, badass enough to go fish these things out near the island, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of how you guys met. Because he was the only one, brave enough to sail you out to this island while the storm was still present. As you...
Do you go in the mouth of every creature that we encounter? Because you were in the frog, and then you've been in the
I
in
have
eels.
been in the mouth of pretty much every creature we've fought with a mouth big enough for me.
Okay. All right.
Do you have a bingo card for it?
Just
Like,
wanted
have
to
you got it in
confirm.
bingo
Yeah,
yet?
I've got.
No, but I love bingo. My grandma used to play it
Monster
with me.
mouth bingo.
A couple of
It's
the guys
not
back
by
to
choice.
Savior have some bets going, so
I'm
you're
just-
in the mouth of an eel. Perfect.
You know what it... Things that big, like somebody's gonna get eaten. So I usually just take one for
I
the team.
volunteer.
I don't want it to be anyone else,
It's very nice of you.
As you approach, Cobb is kind of stumbling around on the deck like he's had... It's rare to see Cobb this hour of the night where he's not kind of three sheets to the
Oi there,
wind.
fella.
And he's kind of like throwing rigging around, like preparing for the fishing boats leave at like 4 a.m.
Oh,
so
he's
just
like
getting
fully
ready.
active, or
he-
he's drunk?
No, both. Yeah, he's getting ready for the morning. He's like stumbling around a little bit, like the boat's rocking, but he's like got the perfect sea lifelong sailor, right? He's just dialed in. He's like,
Hey, fella.
I was just telling an old friend about you. It's good to see you, lad.
It's good to see you too. I brought you one.
Oh, my boy, come here. Bring it in, my boy. And it's like,
Eh,
just like
I'll help you out.
half falls on you. He's just
I'll
like,
help him out with what he
kinda
needs to do.
Stands up, smashes his old wrinkled, like, just his hand is like, like thick, leathery, just smashes it on your shoulder. He just tilts it back and takes it down in a matter of seconds and just...
That was glad. Never mind.
Ah,
Kittens.
Cobb, you're looking so good. It's so good to see you.
He kind
It's
of...
so long since Skins has seen you.
This
I
is Kira.
shoot daggers at Kira with my eyes.
What?
Cobb,
And he kind of does this like, and he kind of, he's
Cobb, you
he's
know
very
we love
drunk.
you. We
clearly.
love you. We love you. These guys saw you on the ship. Were you out on that
We
ship?
were on the ship together.
You're on
You
the
think
ship.
I don't remember?
Where's Velma? Is Velma inside?
You
sleeping?
Velma. And he kind of shouts out. And the little fishing shack door kind of opens.
Oh,
And she kind of like,
hello.
Oh,
she's like,
sorry. Hi, Velma.
Morning. Morning.
Didn't mean to wake you.
and Velma is 17-ish. She's got long, kind of bright red hair, shaved head on the side. She wears like a tank top, and she's very like she's been a fisherman. She's not that old, but she's like she's very, very strong, very lean, very tough. Like kind of knows her way around a ship. Like very, very tough looking kid who went through the ringer with these guys in a previous arc. Almost died several times. Like she is so happy to see you, Kins. as she runs out and just basically falls on you with the biggest hug.
What am I, chopped liver over here?
And
Oh yeah, Jesse's here too.
Also, I sleight of hand her the half mug that I had, if she's interested.
the half mug.
Yeah, beer. Yeah,
she doesn't seem interested, but
I pop it down.
but she does she does immediately kind of rush over and give you a hug, Jessie, and she kind of looks at you and she says, introduces herself as Velma, and so the two of them are standing together, and Cobb is like, I'm gonna say he's on the far end of the spectrum, in terms of it's been a long night of consumption for him. So Velma is.
He's tying the wrong knots.
Somehow he's not, though. He's like, that's
muscle memory.
the muscle
God.
memory is perfect. Like, that's the only thing he can barely stand, but he's tying like bowlines all over the place, like just perfect knot work everywhere. He's dialed
Jesse
in.
wonders aloud to himself, wonder what I could do really drunk still.
Oh.
I'm gonna find out.
You could fight some hags. You remember when we fought?
Man,
I was in a
Sorry
tree.
about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
dear.
was traumatic.
It was.
And
Did not intend that to happen.
Velma's just like, like the embarrassed for the drunk parent kind of look on her face. She's like, I'm sorry. He's very happy. He's just seen an old friend.
No,
What do we owe the
really?
pleasure? We haven't. We heard you travelled quite far away, and of course, I'm sure there was.
Yeah.
Knowing you all, there was lots of danger and whatnot.
Well,
but
first thing
it's
you
so
should
nice
know-
to see you.
Thorcum is fine. He
Thor-
is taking care of things
Is he here?
out in the desert. No, he's
Oh.
not here with us.
Oh, he's.
And so you won't see him, but you'll probably see Belrissa and Vin.
Oh, I would love to. Are they?
Oh.
Also, Vin is back to
Vin
his
is
drow
back.
self. We saved the day.
Not a robot. But did she see him as a robot?
She
I
would
don't
never have
know.
seen him as a. He's back to his drows. Good.
Yes, you remember when he got
There-
stabbed
Just
through
kind of
the heart?
pretends to understand. Like, you guys are on like another level of like you do and say things constantly that she's just like, yeah, whatever
No,
that
I mean,
means.
I happily tell all to everyone, so it's no
Ooh.
problem.
Yeah,
Something-
anyway. This is our friend Kira.
It is very
who
nice to
is
meet you.
Really, really badass. Kira helps us get out of situations as well. Now that we tend to get ourselves wrapped up in monsters' mouths and things like that, and
Oh, trust me, I know.
yeah.
Been there. Been a big part of that.
There's a few elements of Kira's backstory that she hasn't shared with you guys yet, but I think that her reactions towards Velma would maybe prompt questions about it later from the group. And I won't reveal all that now, but I will say that
What
Kira
are the
is looking at
reactions?
Velma with a level of intrigue and admiration, almost as though she's gazing at a younger version of herself. That leads her to kind of shake down some of that arrogant demeanor and shift more into like a much more comfortable position, lets the shoulders drop a little bit, kind of starts to shift her body language a little bit, and just says, have you lived out here long, doing all the fishing and whatnot?
My whole life, yeah, with my grandfather.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm better at it than a lot of the men.
can see that.
My grandfather's taught me. But sure, it's hard, but we eat well, and my grandfather takes care of me, and I have to take care of him sometimes. She kind of runs over.
It's a bit more of the latter, isn't it?
He's like, he's shantying, just doing. He's like having the time of his life, like in his own little zone. Kind of. She rushes back, and but yeah, she.
Hey, Velma, remember that time that thing almost ripped me in half?
Which time?
That has happened to me multiple times since then. Here I am. Hardy
You're
dwarfs.
talking about the Chull when we were on the ship, or the
Yeah,
other
that's right.
time when we were on the island,
Oh, the
or the other
Chull.
time when we were here on the shore, and there
Silver
was the.
spine.
I've just gotten used to it with you all, frankly. Have you seen the ship in the harbor?
Yes.
Yes.
These two have
pretty
questions
large.
for you. It's no problem. They saw you on.
No,
told
hold on,
them
hold on,
about
hold on,
you.
hold on, hold on. Your
We told-
grandfather said that you are talking about us to an old friend.
Aye. He kind of stumbles back. Rejoins the conversation.
Yeah, an old
Great
friend.
man. Great man, Greggy. Great man.
I just
Reagan.
very stealthily take my hammer upside down and give it to him as a cane.
He grabs.
Like he wouldn't even notice, but he just starts he just
leans
starts
on it.
leaning on it.
Figures.
Yeah.
Takes him a moment. Figures it out.
He doesn't know what it is. in my
Wait, does
opinion.
Darkforge let you do that?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's not-
He and Velma says, "We haven't seen him in a few years, but he's a family friend and one of my grandfather's favorite people. I haven't seen him since I was much younger, but he would always bring me gifts, and we'd always get to eat the most delicious food. We eat a lot of fish, mostly just fish.
And what does he usually serve for breakfast?
I can't remember, but it's going to be delicious. I'm sure. Anyway, yeah, we told him all about you. He was interested in who had what had happened on the island, and he was so surprised to hear that we were there, and we were able to tell him everything, and it was. I mean, you all have just been such a boon for this town.
Wait, he was interested in the island?
Yeah, he had questions about what happened to the storm and why
okay.
was the island healed again, and grandfather was so happy. He's so proud of you all. Yeah.
Yeah. So he hasn't been back here since you were little?
No, maybe 4 or 5 years. But
What is it that you think that Grey Gaze does as a profession?
She says, well, when my father sailed with him, they were responsible for sort of keeping the peace in the waters. There was a lot of dangerous other ships, and they would sail up and down the coast, and if something was attacking one of the settlements or the ports, they would be sort of the ones who made sure that didn't happen. And he did the same for us, but then he disappeared for a long time. But now he's back. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Wait, so did he knew about the island? Did he talk about the island at all?
Well, he was asking us what had happened to the storm, mainly, because it's much easier to sail out and around the island now.
Oh, yeah, I bet that all the sailors love that, right?
You just hear this grumbling from Cobb, like, he's... and, yeah, grandfather's not too happy about that. His secret fishing spot is no longer as much of a secret. But yes, I think seems like it's been good for everybody else. But yeah, he was asking us about the island and asking how we knew what had happened, and of course grandfather told him the story of how we were there and how there was a tree and how you all had kind of killed monsters and everything, and he seemed very intrigued and asked if we might introduce you.
Are you coming to breakfast?
I don't know.
Oh. We were
Give him a
invited to
elbowkins
breakfast.
Gently in the side.
I'm not sure.
Do you think that you would come to breakfast?
I mean, I like breakfast, if that's
I
what you're
imagine
asking.
everyone eats breakfast, Kins. Probably all of us
Very
are going
more.
to be at breakfast
Bacon.
somewhere, somehow.
Like some kind of salted meat.
Yes, but if we have people that are well liked, then maybe that's a good celebration and nothing scary, Kira.
I think that if you're invited somewhere, that usually you wouldn't then go and invite people of your own, would you?
There's a really underrated breakfast seasoning spice.
Oh, yeah,
Human.
that's a good. conversation shift, Jesse. Well done. Spice is very seasonal and breakfasty. I agree. Yum yum.
I don't understand what's happening right now.
Kira and Kins have had a long day. Yes, I'm referring to myself in the third
I got
person.
new armor. I am looking dapper.
You're very shiny right now.
I'm just
That's the
gonna
best I've ever looked.
I'm gonna look at Velma and I think I'm reading from her. Actually, can I gauge my awareness of her intention of what she's telling us or not telling us?
That would be an insight check.
All right, well here we go.
Somebody made an insight check.
We're not gonna insight
Yeah,
check
she's not
Velma.
gonna
We
do it.
like her.
Just
22.
only insight checks right then. By rule.
With a 22, you are gazing at Velma, and I would say what you just described to us a minute ago is exactly what you feel. There is nothing but pure, genuine, just everything about her.
Great. I'm gonna look at her and I'll just after the kind of awkwardness of the three of us bumbling about trying to figure out what to say or not to say. I'll look at her and say, I too grew up surrounded by boisterous and passionate men who had hearts of gold, but not always the biggest of brains. And I think you're gonna do just fine.
She blushes a little bit, and she kind of like doesn't. I would imagine that she probably doesn't quite know how to respond to that, but you can see in her eyes that she connects with what you said, and just kind of like smiles a little bit and little embarrassed maybe, but seems to really appreciate hearing that. At the same time, Cobb kind of walks over. He says, "Gotta get ready for the morning. The sun rises early, and so do we, right, girl?" And she kind of
hey,
throws his
Velma,
arm around you, Jessie.
Are you guys getting enough metal from the mine?
Velma's
Do you
got
need
more
anything?
metal than any of the men here.
Okay, good. I don't know what that means.
Funny.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
That was a pun.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. METTLE.
Excellent.
There you go. You got it. Well done.
She says, "I don't know much about how it works, but I do know that Remus and some of the others were able to help grandfather outfit his ship to repair some of the armor, and
I saw
we've
it.
got
Looks good.
new tools, new harpoons, new hooks, new everything. It's been
All right.
quite good, yeah.
So you're all
Thanks
right.
to you.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
if you need more, of the people that exist in Portsmouth, you deserve more metal than anyone else, I think, because you helped us.
Well,
with
as
this
long
house.
as you exist, I don't think that's true at
Thanks to us, we wouldn't have ever made it to the island without you and your grandfather. So
all. Well,
It was lovely meeting you, Velma.
yeah, you too. What was your name again? I'm sorry.
Kira.
Kira. It's very, very nice to meet you. I should probably get my grandfather to bed. It's going to be an early morning. I'm sorry about breakfast. I don't quite understand. What
No,
that was.
it's okay. We'll do breakfast another time, Velma.
Okay. It was so good to see you. And she just walks off. Smash cut.
I'm so glad I didn't sip right before you said it.
Belrissa and Vinadil, you guys walk into the Sleeping Savior. The night is medium. It's like halfway through the night. A lot of the fishermen. Middle-aged night. Yeah. So it's not quite died down yet, but it's not as busy as it might be prime time. It's on it. You're over the curve on your way down, but you kind of go in, and Emmy's kind of like. Just gives you a wave, as you guys walk in. She's had a long night, clearly.
She had taken them upstairs, correct?
Yep.
Like we had put them in one of the rooms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make a perception check. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to scan and make sure they haven't come down to join the drinking.
Oh, there you go.
I got a 20 on perception.
This is much better than mine.
20. Almost as if instinct provoked it, the two men, Rollins and Timon, are sitting at a table seem to be a little bit more rested and are currently enjoying a nice big plate of food and a drink. They haven't noticed you guys walk in.
Alone? Just the two of them, or are they talking to anybody else?
Nope, they're not even talking amongst themselves.
To each other?
They're at the same table. They're just eating kind of in silence.
Vin, should we join them?
No, definitely.
Okay.
What's your take here though? Like,
Okay, so
do we believe these? I mean, so here's
I kind of don't believe either their story's wrong or there's like an imposter ship out there.
that's the thing,
So-
right? Like, you saw through the glass. That's all magic. So what if someone else has tried to make their ship look like this ship and is doing these piratey things, right? But at the same time, what if these guys are trying to turn everybody against this ship with this false story?
They might
right? Like,
be, yeah. I mean, look,
someone's
Grey
trying-
Gaze seems to be not like the most terrible pirate in the world.
yeah, right? Like, just randomly attacking merchant ships doesn't seem. I mean, everybody seems
Everyone
to feel
vouches
like that.
for him, so yeah, it's hard to believe.
But
that-
someone's out to get this guy, because that's not coincidence, right? Like, so either these guys are dirty or they've been fooled.
So
Yeah,
let's
let's
find
just-
out which.
Yeah, let's just get maybe a little more info. Who they are, what they're doing.
Where's Jeshy with the zone of truth when we need him?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, worst comes to worst, we've always got weapons and demon cats, so we'll
True.
figure out something.
Worst come to worst, we've got weapons. Classic Vinadil. You guys walk up to the table, and as soon as you kind of walk up, the younger kid, who's like 18, 19-ish, he kind of sees you coming, and his name is Timon, you remember, and he kind of like stumbles and stands up and kind of like, greets you nicely, and the other guy, who you remember, his name is Rollins, probably like 50s, older guy, much more grizzled. He kind of like just gives you a nod and kind of realizes he probably hasn't looked up in a while and seems to scan the room kind of as you guys walk up, and just gives you a pleasant nod, but goes back to his business. And as you walk up, Timon kind of just awkwardly sits back down and offers a hand to sit with him.
Yeah, I sit down. You guys feeling better?
So the kid looks over at Rollins. What, boy? You've got a voice, don't you? Yeah, I'm feeling better. It's been a little. The food is good. Thank you so much. And he gets interrupted by Rollins, who says, "Fool boy." He's thankful he can barely speak, but we appreciate you very much. Don't know how we're going to repay you for all this, but saved our lives. That's for sure.
Don't worry about it. We have some questions for you, though. The ship that you described that attacked you sounds a lot like the ship that's in the harbor. Did you see the ship in the harbor?
Timmons kind of apprehensively looks over at Rollins, and who doesn't meet his gaze. He's just got like a bowl of stew that he's just... It's not the same ship. I thought it was. Thought we were crazy to come back here, so I went up the roof to take a look. Something about it, it's same colors, but it's not the same shape.
Oh.
And you hear the boy speak up, and he says, I agree. It's odd to see another ship with the same colors, but I got a good look at that ship last night, or a few nights ago, I guess he'd say. He says, I don't think that's the one either.
The ship that did attack you, do you know why they attacked you?
Like every time you ask, he he almost like he's looking for permission from this other guy to speak, and just takes. Normally, I'd say because of our cargo, but they didn't seem much interested in that. It's all at the bottom of the sea now. They came out of nowhere. Started aiming low hull right away. Boat started sinking. They boarded. And he kind of looks over and he says, looks at the kid for a second. He looks back and he says, "It's a miracle we got away."
You say out of nowhere. Was there anything strange, like a strange mist on the water, or how did you not see them coming?
Yeah, something like that. Just misty. It was dark. It's all very foggy.
Definitely insight checking here. I'm a horrible insight checker. Of if he's just confused or trying to lie to me is what I'm trying to think. It's a 5. Nice.
He it's hard to tell. Like there's definitely it's unclear if he's lying or that he's just tired and groggy, but like it's definitely awkward. Yeah. I think that's the best you're gonna get with that roll. Yeah. The boy kind of looks over and he says, "I was awake. And it was very dark and there were clouds covering the moon. And the first thing we heard was cannon fire. And all of a sudden it was right there. And I mean, everyone just started screaming and yelling, and before we knew it, the sails were on fire, and the main mast tipped and crashed into the water, and all I heard was screaming and just it's all right, boy. Nobody would have done anything different, and the only ones who did are dead. You made the right move to hide in the lifeboat. It's the only reason you're alive. There's no shame in that."
No shame at all. We've have a little experience with ships being torn apart, having to do whatever it takes to survive. It wasn't cannon fire that destroyed the ship we were on. Not completely, anyway.
Belarissa, make a perception check.
13.
On the pinky finger of the left hand of Rollins, you notice as he lifts his bowl to drink the last of his stew, is a signet ring with the symbol of Komis Yonku
Oh no.
on the ring.
Okay.
Bowl comes back down, wipes his beard a little bit.
I didn't see that. So I'm gonna keep going on.
Okay, no, I'm gonna point it out. That's an interesting ring there. It looks a lot like the there's a ship out there that has like a similar thing, being creature thing guy on its front. I don't know what figurehead. What is it? Who is it?
He kind of like looks at you, a little cockeyed for a second, and he goes, like he for a second he has no idea what you're talking about, and then he kind of like connects the dots, and you mean this?
Mm-hmm.
The guild, the merchants guild, the guild that you don't. That's the symbol of the guild.
Oh. Okay.
Is this guild out of your port city down south? The one whose name
He almost seems like
Horace?
he doesn't like first. He's like confused at the question for a second, and he kind of says, "The guild represents quite a few territories, the south, mainly in the west."
You'll have to forgive us. We come from Great Haven. That's where we've been the last, say,
Great Haven, in the
60
north,
years or so.
the dwarven city of Great Haven.
Dwarven City.
Kind of perks up a little. Didn't even know it was still there. Thought maybe it was overrun years ago.
You know, to be honest with you, that's what we thought of everything south of the mountains. We had no idea Port Saurus was still active. To hear that there's a whole guild of merchant vessels running is going to be news to the city for sure.
Much trade in and out of there.
Great Haven? No. Not when we left, anyway. I mean, enough to keep the city going, but not enough that we thought that there was active, honestly, civilization out here. It's been one surprise after the other.
Seems lost in thought for a minute.
Do you remember about where they attacked your ship? I mean, I just want to kind of get an idea of, like, between Port Saurus and here, if he can just give us some type of
Yeah, so
landmark or something, right?
probably so like Port Saurus is like kind of on the southeastern tip. It's like the Florida of this continent. It's like, you know, down in that kind of corner, and you guys are quite a ways up the coast, and I would say that, you know, maybe 3/4 of the way up.
So, like, past the mountains, this side of the desert.
Oh yeah,
So to
definitely,
speak, yeah.
for sure, yeah.
Okay.
He basically says, so his ship was called the Meryton, and it was a merchant vessel bound for Portsmouth, just for trade and for.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So they were, he guesses, maybe a few days out, you know, from port before when he was attacked.
Okay.
He says, "Tell me, how would one get to Great Haven from here?"
One wouldn't. Unless potentially you found a ride with one of the wagon men. I'm just going to look at Belrissa. I mean, otherwise, that's a death sentence. I'm not sure what it's like down south, but you wouldn't go half a day without facing a roaming horde of undead. So, or the bandits who somehow find a way to live in the middle of them. I mean, I don't like doing it myself, and we've got a band of 6 rather capable people. But yeah, I mean, there are wagon men. What are you still looking to ply the merchant trade? What's the interest in Great Haven? We do send messages time to time. Maybe we could.
He says, he basically says, like, for the sake of brevity, he's interested in, like, this is obviously a career merchant. You know, this guy's interested in just trade and general, and the idea that there's this whole city that exists that's, like, not on his radar is just the most fascinating thing to him. And you can kind of tell that he's, like, throwing caution. You can see the gears turning. He's like, how do I, you know what I mean? Like, how do I connect these dots here? You can kind of see that he's thinking about it even in his state, and it kind of gives you an idea of how this guy operates. And you can tell the kid is just out of his depth. Like, he was, you know, doesn't,
right.
He's like, what? Okay, sure. Undead? Come on. You know, like, he's perfectly happy here in this warm, you know, near this warm hearth, drinking this delicious.
Your best bet is to spend a few days here in Portsmouth. we've been gone for about a month and a half to the desert. But trade, obviously, has picked up here. There's more ships in and out of harbor. There's a pretty active trade here locally between the island and back. And if Great Haven is somewhere you want to be, this is where I would find someone that might be heading that way. But I'll just tell you that's the trip we almost didn't make. When we came here, it wasn't by land. We came by sea as well. And one of the boats in our party didn't make it. Yeah.
Are y'all gonna be here for a while? I'm happy to get you some more dinner. Perhaps would you like a refill for some drinks? Emmy walks up and starts clearing empty plates. And
I'm gonna give Belrissa the sign to talk to me in my head, like the send me a message sign, right?
What is that sign?
you guys have a code?
Yeah, it's a hand sign. Yeah, we've got one for like
cousin
whenever
code.
we're yeah, that's right, cousin code.
Code.
So
Awkward hug.
All right. What do you think? Do you believe him?
I think so. I think it. I mean, they could be some kind of crazy lying duo, but I don't see this kid.
Yeah, the kid doesn't
fooling
seem like
anybody.
the lying type.
And the old man just kind of seems like I would expect a person who's made his living on the sea to be. So like I don't think we can sit here and talk for a little while, see if anything pops up, but I'm good.
Yeah,
If you are, but
I'm okay. Yeah. I think, we'll let them be. I don't think they're trying to trick us or anything. I mean, they said it's not that ship, so
which
they
is
were just wrong.
So I mean, after that little exchange, I'll just turn to Emmy and say, I think we're good. Thank you so much, Emmy, but yeah, I think we're good. Just
Then
wanted
it's
to...
about this time that you see Jesse come in the door, march upstairs, and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because it's been the longest day.
It's
It
finally
always is the longest
nighttime.
day.
Oh, this was this. Oh, this was the
the
day we
same
fought the
day.
frog. Yeah, it's the
Frog and
same
goat
day.
day.
Remember?
Done.
We
Jesse
brought the
is
frog
done.
human.
If he's trying to get up for breakfast tomorrow, like he has made a conscious effort. On the walk home, he was like, I'm going straight to bed.
Yeah.
No conversation.
I'm the same way. It's like we just wanted to check on and make sure that our guests were doing better.
I'm gonna before we
We do have an.
before we turn in though.
Yeah.
You guys didn't see like a giant or a baby octopus with the ship that attacked you, did you?
No.
Well, that's good.
Should we
Okay.
have?
No. We had a run-in before. I was just making sure it wasn't the same people.
No, certainly not.
Okay.
I just wanted to say thank you. And if you ever need anything, he's trying to say we're in debt to you. Thank you.
Yeah.
We understand the exchange. A day might come when exchange is offered or needed.
So unless anyone has anything else to do, we're going to say that the night passes. Everybody gets a good night's sleep.
Yay.
It has been a long day. Very long day.
Finally, roll that long rest.
Ooh.
So you guys wake up the next morning and it's overcast. It's a decently humid day. The wind is, not blowing too much. Let's get some of our morning,
Some seagulls?
get some seagulls going.
Morning
My
sequels.
gosh.
The alarm clock that we all have.
I would like to think that that Kira was awake a little bit beforehand to go to the dock just to confirm that John's arrived at
Oh my
dawn.
god.
And I think that he could either already be there or he could arrive after me, and that will depend on my reaction. But I'll let Jay decide how this weird RP is going to continue to evolve.
I felt for sure you were gonna just like not show up till 8 and just let the guy
well,
be
John's
there
is
for.
the main antagonist.
So you
The
said
only person we need to worry about.
so basically like most of the fishing boats are. Most of them leave before dawn. Some of the stragglers are headed out as the golden light of the sunrise is peeking out. And as you walk, you come out of the sleeping savior. It's like that beautiful golden light of the morning. And yeah, and
So many seagulls.
you get that first like breath of like fresh sea air, and you just feel so good after a night of. And you turn the corner and you start walking down the hill of the dirt path onto the way, and down at the end of the docks you see John's, and he's sitting there fighting off seagulls as they're like, and he's just like they're all kind of like moving around. They're like dive bombing his boat, and he's like swatting them and everything, and you could see he's like yawning and he's real tired, and he sees you come in and he just kind of like stands up straight and he tries to look real official. He sees you coming and
He was there, but he was there when I walked up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Kira will saunter onto the pier. Very.
By the way, it's like 5 a.m.
Yeah. This, I would say that this is like more of a. It's a confident strut, but with a mild air of approval, and she'll step onto the boat and just say, "The bird's giving you a hard time."
I was not ultra prepared to RP John's the Swabby.
You don't have your notes on
The character that
exactly.
You haven't developed his personality and voice.
No. She says he says I deal with seagulls all the time. They're fine. It's all right. Are your friends to be joining us? It's very early. The captain's still asleep. I thought I might tell you that.
Did he not say come for breakfast?
Well, yeah, but does he know you're coming this early? It's not quite. It's a bit.
But St. John's, if he's not ready for breakfast, you've got to tell me he's not ready for us to have us for breakfast.
Well, you were quite.
I've got all my friends waking up with the crack of dawn. The sun's not even awake. To come down here, you've agreed to meet me here at dawn, and now you tell me the captain's asleep. I could have let my friends sleep in a bit longer, don't you think?
Yes. Yes. You could still. Am I? He just had no idea what to do or say. He's just totally flustered.
He's just done. At this point, we're all walking up on the dog bite. You're like,
Okay.
This is a really early breakfast, guys.
I've got some.
I'm
I've got
hungry.
some awkward news, friends. Turns out that Johns didn't quite know the itinerary for the day, and it appears as though we may be arriving a wee bit earlier than Captain might expect us to be. So,
Is there time for us to sleep a little more?
how about Johns comes back to the sleeping savior with us, and we have some coffee and just
John.
Should we
chill for a little bit.
pre-breakfast?
with us,
Join
yeah.
the party, John. Join the party.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Johns, look,
Get out from the sea.
you're a good lad. Will you please row my friends and I over to see the captain? I will wake the captain if he's not awake when we arrive. Is that fair?
Ooh,
Bold.
that's a power move.
Make a persuasion check.
As this is happening, Kins just pulls out that she had already made good berries and just pops one in her mouth.
16.
16.
You want one?
Right. So you're going to wake him up.
Well, if he's inviting us for breakfast and we all show up and we've been forced to sit around on the deck, I suppose I would go and give him a little ring-a-ling, make sure he's ready for us.
Right. Okay. Yes. Well, that's why I'm here. Climbing. Watch your step.
Oh, thank you.
Climby birds.
Kira's gonna be like, while he's helping everybody onto the ship, I think that she's kind of reverted back to stewing in the fact that he embarrassed her so badly last night. That after all of this hard work of sneaking in and doing all these things, that he merely, boop bopped around and made her look like a fool. And so, yeah, she's feeling very okay of kicking in his bedroom door and being like, maybe getting the jump surprise on him for a change.
When you said he embarrassed you, I thought you were talking about
you
John.
meant John. He didn't do anything.
Not John's.
Poor John.
We're so angry at John.
God bless John's. John's is absolutely getting the brunt of Kira's embarrassment throughout this whole process. 100%.
Yeah. So he manages to row you guys over. It takes a few minutes. The water's nice and glassy this early in the morning. It is beautiful outside. You guys, maybe begrudgingly awake so early, but there's something just pristine and beautiful about being on the water this early in the morning that not everybody gets to experience. And there's a few moments of peace and as the sun is kind of starting to come up, and you manage to come over to the boat, and there's basically a rope ladder hanging down that you'll need to climb to get aboard. And as you do, there's a handful of deckhands just moving about, going about their tasks. Not everyone is awake this early, but some of them are. And
Kins, I gotta tell you, I think I'm a night person.
You're a night person? I normally like mornings, but I'm not.
I think I'm only
right
at
now.
like 90% of my normal morning appetite, so I'll eat most of the breakfast.
Oh, I ate. I'm good. I ate the good berry. I'm good for.
Oh, Velma was really
Okay.
talking it up, guys. Like she was like, "Oh, this guy's got good food." That's all I heard.
I think I just want to listen. I'm not interested in
The
eating.
good berry, like a good burger.
Welcome
to Good Berries.
Good burger, home with a good burger.
How can we turn this into?
Can I take your order?
This will be an addition to the Sleeping Savior. Here, Kira,
Trash
you want to try
berries.
one?
as you guys are getting aboard,
try it.
you actually smell like you smell something. It's like something is being cooked. It's a little
Birds
funky.
or- food. Okay.
Yeah. It's definitely food. It's not quite clear what is being cooked, but it just has that smell, like, and you can see John's. He kind of, or Blind Ted's awake.
Blind Ted.
He's the cook.
The cook's blind.
If he's he's not all the way blind. He's part. Actually, I don't think he's blind at all.
Oh.
But he's the cook, and if he's awake, and he just trails off and
All right, Johns,
Climbs up.
take it easy. We'll see you tomorrow. You're probably gonna row us back later, right?
He damn well better.
I think he should join us in the Sleeping Savior later for sure.
So
Guest of the owners.
So
It's
I-
on me.
I would say by the time this whole exchange passes, it's probably like 5:30 in the morning, and the sun looks a lot like Jeshi's background. Actually, it's like
Okay, nice.
yeah. So that's pretty
Win.
dialed in with the sunrise. And what do you guys want to do? You're not getting you're kind of getting the same looks as Kira was last night, where it's kind of like they know you're kind of expected, but it's a little awkward,
So did we notice the same kind of magical effect for those of us who haven't entered the ship before?
Yes. Yep. The same thing happened. And
Okay, so looking around now that we're on the ship, can we see anything that is like more indicative of, I don't know, the name of the ship, or
Statues
It-
with.
are there any
bonuses,
differences
warlock
of like the insignia as we get closer? Is Konisyaku just everywhere? I know he's on the other ship down there, but maybe
there are no signs of Komisyon-ku.
very relieved by that.
There are no real insignias. I mean, there's ornamental like woodwork and stuff like you might see on a typical ship of this size, but
But
there's
your earlier description that like it is the same ship, but just used. It's been used as opposed to this like pristine condition.
yeah, exactly.
It's not like they're trying
It's-
to really hide
yeah,
what
it's-
the ship is.
Correct. It's not like there's an obvious like sign of evil that's hidden by this illusion. It's more like the purpose of the illusion.
It's the old wives' tale of like the perfect ship that never. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the
Oh,
purpose
I'm
of like you
digging it.
even notice like there's a handful of like, you know, what looks to be patched cannonball holes like in the hull and stuff, right? Like, but none of that's visible from outside this illusion, so it really does give this illusion of perfection.
Dread Pirate Roberts, right? You know, I mean, it's like you don't mess with the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Mm-hmm,
You know, you just surrender. It's all good.
I've been
I
on this
surrender.
ship twice. How big is the crew from my last night and this morning?
You've probably seen maybe 30 between the guys on the shore and the various deckhands and crew about. You would also
31 if you include John's, but he's only like a half crewmate.
It's
So
just a little.
you would also get the
It's
impression
actually
though
Captain.
that there's not let me see here. Kins, make an intelligence check.
Okay.
This is going to be in reference to like, do you know anything about ships? I mean, you've been here for a few months and you've seen a lot of boats and
20.
20? Okay. I would say just from your general sort of like your deductive abilities as you look around, like there's not enough people here to make this ship work proper. Like the crew's light for sure. But maybe, I don't know. What do you know? I mean, maybe you don't know anything about ships. I mean, I don't
That's
know.
true. I'm city driven.
Yeah.
Is there
It
any,
just seems like there's not enough.
are there any outward thoughts you would care to share as a result of your intelligence?
I don't know if that's something noteworthy to say. I'll just, I mean, assuming that there's no one around, just me shading their operation here, being like, so I don't know anything about boats really. I mean, but this is a pretty big boat. I expected more people to be on board.
You know, the rumors say that each one of the Grey Gaze's men is worth 100 normal crewmen.
What?
Yeah, they could just be sleeping.
I guess, but I've been on this ship before, like last night when they were doing stuff.
Was there more last night, do you think?
I don't think that there were a ton more.
So if this crew feels light, there's the same number last night, then maybe some of the crew's not here.
A mutiny. I've heard of that.
All right, you there with the red hair?
Yep. What, me?
No, not you. Do you work on the ship? No.
You talking to me?
Hi.
Wow, what a voice. Hey, fella.
Where's the captain? What time does he take his breakfast? And where does he take his breakfast?
He's bloody sleeping.
All right.
You know what
Getting
time
my
it
food.
is?
What is
I
this guy
could not
doing?
agree more.
What is Angry Ginger doing?
Could not agree more.
Just pulling on some ropes.
It's just got a pulley that pulley to nowhere.
Okay.
Very important rope pulling.
It's called detailed RP. you know?
Yep.
What exactly?
Unsatisfied by
person's
the Angry
role?
Ginger. Akira decides she already knows where the captain's quarters are because she was in them last night.
Oh no.
And will strut her way around the back of the captain's quarters to the same window she unlocked and snuck into and out of last night. Pick open that window and just lean in. Do I see anything?
Peek in it.
What you see is as you walk around the backside. I would say that you would see Grey Gaze, who is up and walking around and seems to be fitting his, he's just like finished putting himself together a little bit, and is headed towards the door, and then he hears, sees the window. Are you just opening the window and looking in?
I'm just gonna open it and just kind of like put my head on my hands on the windowsill. Good morning, sunshine.
He just kind of looks back at you with that same smirk, and the door opens and he walks out onto the deck.
Perfect. The game continues.
He's Moriarty.
I'll scoff a bit at that about how ignored I feel, and then scurry back around to meet up with my friends and wait to be greeted by the cat.
He comes out and he's like adjusting his sleeves, and you're here early, aren't you?
Oh, man. Tell me about it.
I suppose we didn't really set a time last night, did we? Just figured the invitation was for dawn.
I appreciate that you're up good and early. There's work to be done, things to discuss, and food to eat, if I'm right.
Coffee to drink.
And he actually turns back and sort of holds open the door of the quarters that he just came out of, and he says, "Please, I'll have the food brought to us."
Lovely.
So, assuming you guys go in, feel free to say otherwise.
Yep.
He brings you over to. Most of you haven't seen this yet, but you kind of see that there's
I'll walk in, put my feet on the table. I'm kidding.
Yeah, there's sort of like there's like two sort of long benches that you're able to sit on, and there's sort of a like almost like a coffee table type thing in the middle. One of the guys, we'll say one of the guys walks in after a few minutes, and he's got like a platter of various bits of food, different I would say different fruits. Probably some of the fruits are fairly exotic. I'm gonna say that there's stuff here some of you guys would probably have never seen, just different things. And there's cheeses, and there's some breads that are not quite as fresh and delightful as Emmy's breads, but still decent. Pretty good spread overall. Some juices, a bit of black coffee that's offered. But you guys kind of, it's pretty early, but he doesn't seem shy about offering everything, and it all gets brought in, and he says, "Please help yourself." And if you guys are, so we get into breakfast.
Yeah, I won't be very shy about it. Kira's just piling on the eggs and bacon, little fruit here and there, just very intently listening to whatever he's going to say while eating a bunch of his food.
I'll just grab a cup of coffee and sit there, but I'm not drinking it. I'm just like
Why are we
swirling my
here?
finger around.
Why are we here? Who are you? I appreciate breakfast.
So
as much as
toward
the next dwarf.
Basically, like once everybody kind of gets settled, it's like this sort of polite formality that he's that he seems to be following here, and he lets all the guys come in and bring everything, and but just about the time where everybody kind of gets rolling, he says, "Where are my manners?" And he kind of stands up and he says, "Captain Oliver Greygaze, at your service." And he kind of leans over and does
Oliver.
a bit of a bow.
Did not guess.
That was not what I would have guessed.
All right, yeah.
He says, "Welcome to my ship.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. For you are the reason we make port. And you are the ones I most dearly wish to meet. Tales of your deeds have reached further than you might think."
Whoa. You've heard of us?
Aye.
Let the man speak.
No,
And
yeah,
surprised was I to find that one of my closest confidants here in Portsmouth had nothing but accolades for you. Seems you and Henry had quite the adventure. And dear Velma as well. I must thank you for bringing them both back safely. They're both very important to me.
You're welcome. Yeah, they are impressive. We would not have been able to accomplish some of what we did without them.
He says, kind of, in between bites, he says, "So did you learn anything useful on your little jaunt last night?" Looking right at Kira.
I was hoping to learn more, but unfortunately I didn't leave quite as full-handed as I would have liked.
Oh, there's nothing really on those charts you would have found useful anyway.
It appears this ship has come from further north than exists. Where have you been?
Further north than exists.
Likely.
But it's not where we've come from. That should concern you as much as where we're going.
Bare your bones.
Indeed. And is that not where you have business yourself?
Perhaps.
And he looks around, kind of breaking the gaze. He looks kind of makes eye contact with everybody. Says, "What do you all know about pirates?"
To be fair, our experience is rather limited and rather bad.
Speak for yourself, Vin.
I mean, yeah. For me and these three, like,
Not the best. Would not recommend. 0 out of 10.
I loved it.
but if you did have a location on a particular pirate that travels with a small octopus friend, that we would be
Subtle.
interested in.
Might be a little grudge there.
He says, "And tell me, is these experiences you speak of, are they recent?"
We'll all look at Kira at this point.
6 months.
Like, ours wasn't, but apparently she's had a lot of recent pirate experiences.
Yours was what, like two
Ours
two
was
months
only
ago?
a couple months ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
it's
couple
pretty
months ago,
recent. Yeah.
So, decently, yeah.
And he kind of gets up and kind of paces the room a little bit, and he walks out, and he's kind of just watching the sunrise, and hands behind his back, and he says,
Damn seagulls.
"Yeah." He says, "Wasn't always like that. Most aren't really pirates in the traditional sense anyway. They're simply men who wanted to live free, away from the laws and responsibilities of common society. Many were treasure hunters, those who would seek out ancient relics and artifacts. Some of the most ancient places in the world are only accessible by ship. And so did many turn to a life of the sea. Many looked down upon us and those who took up this life. But when the undead began to overrun the continent and men flocked to the coast for safety, it was we who they ran to for succor. Wasn't long before our ranks swelled enough that some semblance of order was required, and so we elected an admiral, a noble and cunning man who would in time turn a rabble of disparate crews into a fleet capable of driving back even the fiercest hordes of hobgoblins and undead alike." You can tell there's reverence in his voice as he kind of recalls this, this era that he's describing. He turns back to you finally and kind of walks over. "Truth told, it was quite good in those days. The undead couldn't touch us. The ports and cities begged for our protection and paid handsomely for it. That was until a certain organization arrived. An organization that, if my information is correct, you yourselves have come into contact with."
Oh my gosh. Are you talking about Velk? You know Velk? You know a goblin named Velk?
They called themselves the Guild, a group of merchants who'd managed the loyalty of a handful of captains and carved out a bit of sea for themselves to the west. With a seemingly endless supply of spices and medicines, it didn't take long for them to curry favor with the locals. and eventually the Admiral himself. The guild had found its seat at the table, so to speak. I have no interest in politics. My place is on the sea. It wasn't hard to see it happening, though. The slippery words, the cunning gifts and trades. It took almost no time for the guild to gain a foothold in the Bay of Bones. I couldn't stand it. So, I took on a mission to the north. Tell me, what do you know of this organization? Of the guild?
Oh, they're -1. No, they're not. The little weasel got away, didn't he? They're not -1
Wait, is
lieutenant.
Velk a member of the guild? I don't know if we're talking about the same thing.
I mean,
Because
the group.
the two pirates from last night, or the two people that you and Belrissa talked to, had the guild.
Right. That's
They
you're talking about
did.
being part of the merchants
It
guild.
seems like
yeah.
anyone who's
don't-
doing shipping out of
Did
Port
Velk
Saurus,
say what the group was called?
he didn't. Do you know if they had any in reach into the desert area? Was there activity there when you were? I mean, it would have been pretty noticeable, like an entire group of people trying to uncover an ancient relic.
Yeah, it was very noticeable. Yes.
He
Yeah,
just kind of smiles, and he says very matter of factly, like this is a known thing, like, you know, not even up for debate. He says the excavation of the ziggurat in the Steel Sands Desert was commissioned out of the Bay of Bones. I'm aware not only of the logistics of the operation, but of its failures, due in no small part to yourselves, I'm told.
That's
Anyway, definitely.
how do you know this?
He he completely ignores your question.
It's literally been like, I think 3 days since we got. Well, I guess we went to Stillgate.
It's been a few weeks.
We've
Yeah.
been
couple
weeks,
of-
It's been a
yeah,
while,
to
yeah.
travel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a while.
3 nights in this town, for God's sake.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes, okay.
He
So
he's
he
kind
just
of been
ignores me.
well. He ignores you. He seems to be like thinking about. He doesn't immediately answer. I should say he's pacing kind of the room, and he's doing this thing where he just kind of paces back and forth, and he'll go to the window and kind of walk back, and he'll casually take a bite to eat.
I
But,
don't mind that you know something went wrong in the ziggurat. How do you know we're involved?
He says, about 3 months ago, started to receive reports of strange tidings at home. People going missing, ships being attacked, and attacking other ships without provocation. That kind of thing. Just seemed odd at first until the reports about the guild's activities in the Titan's skull. They were mining, excavating something. Some kind of rift. Not unlike what they set out to uncover in the desert. Or so I'm told.
Where was this?
Titan skull.
Yep.
It's the
And
first I've heard of the Titan skull.
The Bay of
Or do
Bones
we
is
know?
the Titan, right? Made of
Yeah.
the Titan.
yep.
Uh,
And you guys would recall from Kira's knowledge that the Bay of Bones is called that because it is made up of the literal bones of a ancient Titan. So
If I,
um,
can I try to bluff my rumor against him?
sure.
Okay. Does all this have anything to do with Silver Admiral hiring on the alley cats?
You're well informed as well. I'm impressed yet again. The one man charged with maintaining order is reportedly now a recluse, never leaving his chambers or removing his armor, completely paranoid of assassination and who knows what. The Silver Admiral even hired a crew of landlubber mercenaries for protection, I'm told. The alley cats. Lapdogs of the guild. They say the Admiral's gone sick in the head, can't tell up from down, that he's lost control of the fleet. Well, I don't know what's happening, but I'd bet my rudder the guild is responsible.
Is the Titan's skull, and I'm literally asking this, is it underwater or is it part of the Bay of Bones?
He says, the Silver Admiral's fortress is inside the Titan's skull, a good bit of which is underwater. And it is within that the guild has discovered something. Something that's disrupting everything we've worked to build, and creating chaos up and down the coast, not least of which is the destruction of that ship that you yourselves came upon. And if my gut's correct, it's only going to get worse.
So that's why you've had us out here, is you want us to go have a look.
Aye. Tomorrow, this ship will weigh anchor and set course for the Bay of Bones. I intend to discover what has caused my brothers to abandon their code, and I plan to put a stop to it. We lost much in the north. I could use a crew who knows what's ahead of us, what we're getting ourselves into. And he's obviously looking at you when he says that.
We're told that you've been gone for a couple years. I guess when all of this was happening. Can I ask where you were?
He seems to seriously consider it, and then he says, when we're out and away, and a good bit off from this place, ask me again, but not here.
Okay, fair enough.
Why is that fair enough?
I mean, maybe there's people over here that he doesn't want to know. I mean, he's got I asked a personal question. He can talk about it
Pretty
later.
Okay.
You didn't feed us.
I mean,
Nice. What's wrong with Portsmouth?
You can make an insight check if you want.
I would like to make an insight check. Gonna go well, but I'll do it anyway. 13.
13? Yeah, I don't think he's really... It's not... let's see, how would I describe? He seems almost like it's a difficult memory for him to recall more than he's being evasive or deceptive. But that's about all you can tell.
Does it
guess
have
we're
to
gonna
be
have to-
tomorrow?
Postpone that trip to the island again. Maybe we can. I guess we
The
do have
island
to-
of
Well,
I guess we
more
do
than
have
the
to
boy.
day.
We
On
want to.
the
You want us to
land
go? I'm obviously trying to not talk
Portsaurus.
about the island at all.
Oh no, I was trying to help you, but this bad.
So you were just saying Portsaurus.
The island of support.
So you
mean,
want us to
more
go
than support.
scope out? Is there any information that you know about or that would be helpful to us on this journey?
Yeah, like, what are the odds that 5 ships come and try to sink us between here and there? Like, what's,
The best route.
we were in the desert. I'm going to assume you have some idea of what that was like. We basically fought a war with a crazy person that the guild was backing. That took us weeks to prepare for. And you're saying in 24 hours, we're supposed to go potentially invade a pirate island fort?
So
How many leagues away?
just to clarify, it's several weeks journey by ship. It's a long way.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna show up tomorrow with no planning, right?
Right. But I'm just
the boat.
I just
The
want to make
boat.
sure,
Would,
like,
the boat leaves tomorrow.
do we have any allies that we can talk to, or is there
Yeah.
a plate like? So okay, we
it's-
just want to know his plan a little bit. We're you might not know this. We're intricate planners,
Yeah.
and so
So what basically what happens is as you're saying this, he walks over. There's like a corner of the room where the sun is setting kind of on one side of the ship, and it's kind of casting a shadow through the windows, and he steps into a shadow, Vin, and he disappears, and he reappears on the other side of the room. And
He used divine sense.
Finn, that was
as
awesome.
as he does, he picks up the charts that are still rolled up from the night before, and he walks over and he puts them on his desk, and he says, "It'll take more than 5 ships to be a problem for the Grey Tide. You're with us this time. You're not alone. There's no plan yet, but I trust together we'll come up with something. What I'm most interested in now is trust and loyalty. Because if I'm honest, I'm running a bit short on that. Henry Cobb. Well, let's just say there's not too many in the whole world I trust more than him. And he has the utmost faith in you, which is enough for me. Combined with the rumors of what you've done on Alara's Rest, and how you stuck it to the guild already in the desert. Well, that's why we're here in Portsmouth. So what say you?
Can I check if this is a genuine? Okay, no, let me backtrack. Is there anything more that's being withheld from this speech right here?
Sure, you can insight check that. Anybody can if you want to.
Oh, it was
okay.
so close
18.
to a 20.
18?
Yeah.
Kins, I would say your interpretation of his speech is one of reverence, seems very genuine. He's speaking of you, like, you tend to like it when people talk about how awesome, you are and how you've saved the day.
Grovekeeper.
And he's talking you up, and he's playing into that for sure. And I think Kins would be into this. I think that would probably be your takeaway.
Okay.
Kira will keep the smirk on and just. I don't fancy it actually works out. There's someone I'm trying to find in the bay. Suppose if the ride's free, there's no reason not to come.
Okay. I mean, look, I get the guild is bad, right? And we're known as like heroes who are saving the world from something terrible. But like really, and okay, so Kira has wants a free ride there, which is great. But what is in it for us? Why are we doing this mission?
I'm gonna glance over at Belrissa here. I'll say it out loud, not look for the things. Like, look, he told us there were 8 places. We've seen 2. If there's a rift, this could be number 3. If there's a rift, there might be some crazy chance that we could pull our friend out. Or at least think about it between here and there. I mean, I don't know what's in it for us. If we could find a way to connect with Raikkonen, really should have given him one of those sending stones. Would be nice. before we head out, but who knows? I don't know.
Oliver, that little, here, you're here 1 second and then here another. You have other tricks like that?
Aye, plenty.
That's cool.
It's kind of my thing.
I should very much like to learn that trick.
I think Belris's point is incredibly important. I mean, yes, I'm happy to go check it out, but it feels like we're being looped into something. So I have basically two demands. One is my bed at the Sleeping Savior it's my safe space. It's where I want to be. It's where I want to sleep. I've gotten literally 2 nights. We're about to set sail. You just said for 5 weeks. That's an uncountable number of leagues away. It's insanely far. So I would request super comfortable quarters. And more importantly than that, well, equally importantly as that is, you said we're like well known, and I don't know if you know this, but like you and I know you're not like friends with the Silver Admiral, but them, and like there's some really cool names going around. So I was thinking like maybe you could give us a title when this is all over. Like a title. Like you could you could like name us something. Cause like it's cool that you know us, but like what do you know us as? It feels like you don't really it's like, who are we? We're just like, but I want it to be official. I want like seals
bestowed by
yeah.
Grey Gaze.
Yes.
Captain Grey Gaze.
Other than that, I'm in.
He considers strongly. He says, "Deal."
I've thought of a third request. I apologize. You've been down towards the desert. Have you ever had glassweed?
He seems to like the total random change
I pulled
of
some
subject.
out. I have it. I said, look. No. This is a business
smells
proposal.
Very good.
I am looking for a way to establish trade between Catel's Oasis and maybe via the Ziggurat area up to Portsmouth for this weed. So
as long as the guild controls those waters, you'll never have a chance of that. But perhaps we have a chance together of opening up those waterways so you can achieve these goals.
See, win-win-win.
And he kind of comes back and he says, what does he say? He says,
I've thrown him a loop.
Yeah, he's thinking about trade routes and logistical,
names,
mercantile situation. He says, he turns his back to you and he walks over to, there's like a table, and he seems to be pouring himself a glass of something, water perhaps. And he says, your concerns are valid. Clearly referring to Belrissa's comments. And he says, I am honor bound to understand what's going on. You are not. But what I can give you, and he turns around, is the location of Valk. As I understand it, you have unfinished business.
How do you know where he is?
He kind of ignores your question,
Oh my gosh.
and he says, "Pray set your affairs in order. It's going to be a long time at sea. You won't be back here for some time. Do what you need to do, and we'll see you tomorrow."
Okay, I'm going back to bed.
And that's where we'll end today's session. We'll pick up next time with preparations, or potentially declining going on the adventure.
That's right.
I don't know. You guys
really
can decide.
would rather go north.
If we'd rather
Like,
play Sims 4 and
Like,
build out
go,
the
Kira,
town of
steal
Port,
the
that's
maps,
cool.
go.
We could do that too. But
I mean, there's a lot of logistics to figure out.
That's
there
true.
are.
Portsmouth.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
have
Like,
the census
metrics
episode.
The mayor.
Vin needs, Vin
mayor
needs to be
election-
mayor. We need
It-
to
it's
franchise
not
out the
another 6
business.
months. Yeah. The
totally.
mayor election in 6 months. We need to be back for that. But other
need-
than that,
We need one more.
carpetbaggers.
We need one more of this before we go here.
Seagulls.
Oh, it's the mellow seagulls. Thanks, guys. Good job. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Jay.
Loved RPing as random
Johns.
sailors.
John's. I mean, he's in.
The
Like,
angry
his-
ginger. The other one. We had Timmons. We had Rollins. We had the captain.
Great.
We had just.
I mean-
we had a lot going on.
John's
like
is in the list now. So like his name is
82%.
underneath Oliver Greygaze. So I mean,
Yeah.
he's going to come back at some point. Like
Cool. Any call outs or shout outs or anything before we close?
I would like to know how certain viewers are that the Grey Gaze is just Raikkonen again.
Don't go with conspiracy theory again. My little brain can't handle
The
it.
Tinkerer was Raikkonen. Mortimer is Raikkonen.
They're
This
all
guy's
Valk is
Finkel is
Raikkonen.
Remus is Raikkonen.
Raikkonen is everyone.
It's all
It's
right.
like being
It's
John
Raikkonen's all the way
Malkovich,
down.
but just
Yeah.
being Raikkonen.
Yep.
This whole
John's
campaign.
Raikkonen.
There should be a bad dream someday where that happens when he gets.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. Good job, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate you guys. And until next time, good luck with your bad plans and your seagulls.